ever going to start this podcast you've been talking about for like forever?
Do you think that anyone will actually want to listen to something like this?
What is your plan for an introduction?
Are you sure you want to talk about these topics? People usually disagree.
3 hours? Are you crazy?
Do you think you're some kind of expert or something?
Are you planning to have an intro song?
What if a bunch of people get really mad and hate you over this?
Do you even know how to make a podcast?
Are you just doing this because you like to argue with people?
Don't let this be just one more thing that you talk about doing, but never actually do.
Wouldn't it be better to do just one episode for each topic?
Stop trying to change people's opinions. Just live your own life.
Dude, people are never gonna agree. Just let it go.
Is this going to be a long intro? Because if it is, I'm bored already.
Hi there. Thanks for checking out another episode of Why Can't We Talk About That? Today's episode almost didn't happen. I'll explain why in a minute, but first I have a question. I have been seeing the slogan, "Find Your Voice," lately, and it got me thinking, is this really what's important? Is our problem today that people don't have a voice? And of course it doesn't mean that they literally don't have a voice. Find your voice, as far as I understand it, means to speak up about your thoughts and beliefs. Speak out about who you are and what you think. But is this really something that is lacking today? Are there so many people that are afraid to speak up about their beliefs? Those that have important things to share with the world but are just cowering in a corner somewhere because they still need to find their voice? Now don't get me wrong here. I'm sure there are some people just like this, and to them I would say, speak up. However, I don't believe that this is the majority of the people. I think most people, at least the ones who feel passionately about their beliefs, have no problem sharing, and sharing loudly. What's my point? My point is that a lot of the time, the things being shared are not true. Many people are uninformed and are just parroting whatever they have heard from their favorite artist, actor, singer, etc., without actually looking into it for themselves. So what I would say, instead of find your voice, would be find your brain. Find your own ability to do the research and come to your own conclusions. Think for yourself. We have enough voices as it is. We need people who actually think for themselves and use their brains to find solutions. What's the point of finding your voice if all you do is use it to spread unfounded false claims? Personally, that's a voice that I don't want to hear. But what do you guys think? Let me know. Now on to some heartbreaking news. Today my guest is Patrick Ang, a photographer and videographer. That's not the heartbreaking news. Patrick isn't the most loud and boisterous person you would meet, and it took a little bit to get him out of his shell. That's also not the heartbreaking news. Once I got him out of his shell, and he started to open up, we talked about some really cool things. The conversation was great. Unfortunately, something went wrong with the recording, and I lost the last 30 minutes of the discussion. And that was during our second recording session because there was a scheduling conflict with the first one, and we had to shut down early. So what I had to do was splice together what I had from both recordings, so you'll probably notice some inconsistencies with our conversation. But there are still some really good parts, so hang in there. The end of the episode, unfortunately, will just stop right in the middle of a conversation, and a really good conversation at that. So for that I apologize. I called the episode The Shutdown because not only does Patrick use the phrase shutdown a few times, but it also seemed appropriate because this whole episode seemed like it was being shut down. It's a bummer, but it is what it is, I guess. Topics today include allergies, photo shoots, AI, ill effects of technology, drugs, sheltering our children, the jab, looking for a fence, gay weddings, wanting to keep our kids young, Parenthood, the show, the movie, and the actual thing, the wedding games, growing up Catholic, shutting down, and the TV show Lost. As a disclaimer, if you have never seen the show Lost, first of all, what are you waiting for? It's great! And secondly, be warned that there are major spoilers discussed in this episode. Enjoy the conversation. Well, that'd be cool. You'd be married to a doctor. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
You know, and then she could like make people call her doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I'd do. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I'd even do that with my wife. We'd be out somewhere and they'd say, "Oh, this is my wife." I'd say doctor, you know, and they'd be like, "Oh, hi, Mrs." No. Doctor. You address her properly.
You watch Friends?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
The doctor.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, Dr. Roscoe.
Yeah.
Something he lost.
Yeah, we probably watched through that show. Dang, probably 3 or 4 times in its entirety. Yeah, I had never even seen it until I met Bethany. So it's like, yeah, it's like growing up, like my parents, we always watched Seinfeld. And when Friends first started, it came on right after Seinfeld. Yeah. And my parents loved it. And they said, oh, Ryan, you got to watch this show. It's really funny. I was like, nah, I don't have time for that, whatever. And then years later, I meet Bethany and she's like, you've never seen Friends?
That's how it was.
Yeah.
I watched it like we had Friends, like, what's some Friends? We had a Friends finale like party.
Like when it was still airing?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I watched it every like episode when it aired. But then Christine, like, I introduced her, and she watches it to sleep at night. And I haven't,
really?
I haven't watched it in like years, but she watches it like.
Oh, how funny! Yeah. My older daughter and her husband, they when they go on drives, they'll put it on just to listen to it.
I thought you had 2. You had more.
We have 4 kids.
Okay.
Yeah, we have 4 kids. My oldest is going to be should be 25, I think, in November. Yeah, so she's married, living down in Whittier area. She's working with kids on the spectrum. She went to Biola, got her degree in psychology, and so she's loving her job down there doing that. And her husband got his degree in art, so they're they're doing their thing down there. No grandkids yet. I'm waiting, but and then our older son is 21. He recently just moved back in. So he's the one that does all the techie stuff for the podcast, because I have no clue what I'm doing. I don't know if you've heard any yet or not, but when you go to listen to it, you hear the intro and there's the theme song. He wrote all that. I did not want to listen to it. Okay. So I could just like not like. That's a good idea. Suck myself out or like talk about this, but then I'm gonna like listen to it later and then listen to myself. I'm like, oh man. I'll tell you, most people don't like their own episodes just because they don't like to hear their own voice.
My own episode.
They're just like, oh, I don't like the way my voice sounds. Yeah. And of course, we're all going, well, that's what you sound like to everybody else anyway, you know?
They're just like, it's going to make me self-conscious. I'm just not talk to anyone.
Right. Yeah. So we have the 4. So he just moved back from Corona, so he's living here now. He's looking for work and looking to get out on his own eventually, but he's just kind of hanging out here until he can get a steady job and stuff. And then Addie and Asher, so the younger 2. But yeah, we have kind of a gap in between. You guys just have the 2, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And they're about Addie and Asher's age, right? The 2 of them. Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
You're like Camille Lopez. You're like them.
Yeah.
2 and 2.
Yeah. Well, we started really young. Like I was 20, and Bethany was actually 17 when she found out she was pregnant with Alora, our oldest. And that was a big shocker, because we weren't planning on being parents at that time. So she was 18 by the time she gave birth, just barely 18, because Bethany's birthday is in October and our daughter was born in November. So. And then we had Aiden, and then there was a lot of issues. So he was born with a heart defect, and he had to have open heart surgery when he was like an infant, and he's had to have another one when he was 15. So he still has to go back for maintenance and all that. But I mean, that's really when we became believers too. By the way, it was during all that whole time. First time we were at Calvary. That's where we were at before. And I know we're kind of back now, but we were gone for like 15, 16 years or something and came back. But then we were kind of like, oh, we're done with 2. But then after all that, we're like, oh, let's have some more, And then it was after one of them, Bethany always has to remind me which one it was, whether it was Addie or Asher. But after she gave birth to one of them, she looked at me and she said, I think I want to have 10. I think we should have 10 kids. I was like, what? Yeah. And keep in mind, she did no pain, nothing with any of them. Like she went flat out, just natural, totally natural.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm like, man, I would have been not long.
Oh, okay.
Not bad. Yeah, not bad. I mean, we did starting with Addie. We started doing Bradley classes instead of Lamaze. Lamaze is like the common one the hospital usually tells you. A friend of ours, I don't know if you know the Gormans or not.
Yeah.
Okay, so Barbara is she was whatever official title, doula or something like that with the Bradley method. So she taught a class on that, and we took that when we were pregnant with Addie, and that was a totally different. Like it was a more natural base, and it was just it's really cool.
We didn't start getting into natural path until my Sophie, she has a lot of medical issues too. She has a lot of allergies, and when she was born, we like listened to the doctors. My aunt, two of my aunts and then uncle, and now my cousins are doctors, and they were like, you know, do all the vaccinations. You know, every time I got sick, antibiotics. You know, and this drug for this drug for this, and we just, we went to the Lavaz or whatever, and we did everything they told us to do, and Sophie we did all the vaccinations, and then we found out she was like 3 months in, she got all these welts after she was nursing, and then and she went to an allergist, and she was allergic to everything. So her diet was horrible. We went to every single doctor we could think of, and then we just kind of like stopped. This is not working. You know, like a natural, and they said like, you have so much, like there's from the vaccinations there was like high metal, you know, and all that. So she wasn't allergic to stuff. She was she couldn't break things down.
Oh.
So
is it giving her like stomach problems then because of that, or?
And like her skin would react to. So like we went to the whole natural path for that, and we noticed a little bit of difference too. So. Yeah. She can't sweat.
Oh, okay.
Sweat in her life.
I met somebody else like that.
Yeah.
Like that's an actual condition, right? Where that. And so you like overheat.
Yeah. So we used to live in Bakersfield.
Ooh.
And we were like we got solar, and we were inside like 8 months of the year. So the house.
Yeah, that place is.
Like this is when she was younger. We'd go to go out. We'd go to like Costco, Target, just like
to get in the air conditioner. Yeah, go through that little freezer section where they have all the.
It was horrible.
Yeah, that's brutal.
She could go out. I mean, to go to the beach. We come over here and go to the beach on the weekend, and I was like, we should move here. Like, there's no way. And
because of prices and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There's no way. And then
and
then we just called a realtor on the drive home from the beach. It was like 5 o'clock. You know, we were coming home from the beach. It's like, oh, it's so early.
Yeah.
You know, and we just want to get home before our nap time. And she's like, we should move here. And she always comes up with like ideas. And like, all right, fine. Let me call a realtor just to kind of just like entertain your idea. And then like he said, like we'd make some money off of it. I'm like, all right, well maybe.
Right.
So
right.
Kind of. She's a stronger believer than I was back then. You know, and she had a lot of trials in her life. I didn't. I had a pretty good like upbringing.
Okay.
I was raised Catholic, and everything was kind of routine. Everything worked out for me.
Right.
But for her, it didn't, and her brother got her into Christianity, and she got saved like when we were together, and she developed a really strong faith, and I was just kind of went along for the ride.
Okay. And then so you guys weren't believers when you met? No. Not really. I mean, you grew up Catholic, and
she did too.
Okay.
Everything was routine, and and then when she prayed about it a lot, and then it just like we knew nothing. Well, I mean, I went to Cal Poly, and but I had I was a photographer. I was kind of starting out in Bakersfield, and I had a really good network there. I was really established, and I was like, I don't want to leave this. You know, like everyone knows me here.
Right. I mean, a job like that, you have a fan base, client base.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I had a brand there. You know, I had a network, and then she had a job there. She worked for a charter there, and then when she said, "Let's do it," I mean, she prayed about it, and and she had a strong faith then. She said, like, you know, he has a plan for us, and I think it's over here. And so we did. And
you guys made the move, huh?
Yeah. I mean,
and you had no kids at the time, or?
No, we had both of them.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys are pretty new to the area then. Somewhat.
2014.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lily was just kind of bored. Maybe she was like 2 or 3.
Okay.
Yeah,
and she's the youngest one,
yeah,
right? Okay.
Yeah, they're 3 years apart.
Yeah. I only know your kids through my kids. Yeah. So I don't know a whole lot about them. I just know that Addie's talked about them before, like, oh, and so, and it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't really, you have to forgive me for not knowing, like, which one's older and all that stuff.
Yeah, likewise, I didn't know you have to.
Yeah, you're right, yeah. So, well, that's what's kind of cool about these too.
Right?
Yeah. Well, that's what's kind of cool about doing this, though, is like, because some of the people, like if you go back and you listen to this to the first season, some of the people I know very, very well. Yeah. Like some of them were even hesitant to come on because like, well, what are we going to talk about? You already know everything about me. Yeah. It's like, well, no, we'll just talk about other stuff, or whatever. And it just turned out really good. And then other people, it's like I hardly know them at all. Yeah. And then it's through this podcast that I kind of get to know them, and it's kind of cool to do that, So. I mean, as long as the person's willing to, talk about stuff. But so Sophie's your oldest, and she's the one that had the allergy issues. Mm-hmm. The younger doesn't have any of that, or
she's good. What's funny was back there when we were in Bakersfield, we were all good, except for Sophie. She was miserable. Like I remember, like the last event was this 4th of July thing. Mm-hmm. Our neighborhood had this like little parade. It was the morning. Like 8 o'clock in the morning because it got hot.
Right. Oh man.
So we had a little parade in the park near our house,
Yeah.
And she had fun. I had great some great pictures, but afterwards she was so red. Like she can't sweat, so she pretty much broke down. And like when she was in the house, she was all red all day long. I'm like, this is horrible.
Can that be a problem? Like, do the doctors say that? Can you like have a heat stroke if you have that condition? Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Because you're not able to cool off.
Yeah.
So living in a more cooler climate is better than
she loves it here. She's outside all the time too. So.
Right.
But yeah, it was good. But no, so we were all good. She was horrible there, but when she moved here, she was great. She was outdoors. But then me and Lily, we got allergies.
Oh no, from being here because of all the pollen and stuff.
Yeah.
No.
I actually took her to an allergist, and we both got allergy test. She was scared, and I'm like, let's just because she got like a runny nose every season, and she'd be like sniffling and getting sick every year. I'm like, I think you have allergies. Let's go check it out, and I'll do it with you just to,
right.
And like it turned out she was completely fine. I had a ton of allergies. So like, what?
Like airborne allergies or like food allergies?
No, I don't have
food
allergies.
Okay.
Well, I'm lactose intolerant too. But,
okay.
So the chai would probably be a bad idea.
Yeah, because the chai even has it in the powder. It even has milk in the powder. So
I still do it. I have like latte with me, and like when I go to weddings, I'm like, I need to have cake.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So I have lactate with me.
Okay.
I'm allergic to everything. Like everything showed up. So I've been doing immunotherapy for the past like 3 years.
What does that mean, amino?
They take everything that I'm allergic to and I'm like inject it into me like every month.
Every month you have to get an injection? Okay.
Yeah, like 4 weeks now. A small dose.
Okay.
And then as I get tolerant to it, so, they increase like the potency of it.
Okay.
And I was like, I don't know. I didn't feel anything. I mean, it hurt for a while. Like, I was like, my arm was sore, and like I got like really like itchy and for like a couple days. But then,
but each one is significantly less.
No,
or you do that every time.
No, it gets stronger.
Oh, it's stronger every time.
Yeah, just you build tolerance to it.
Oh, okay.
So it was really less in the beginning because they don't want to hurt.
Right. But is it indefinite? Are you supposed to do this for the rest of your life, or are you supposed to get to a point where?
Actually, my 3-year mark is in October, and then they're gonna reevaluate. So usually it's like a 3 to 5 year thing and see like, do I need to keep going?
Right.
But I think last year I went into an office, I forgot what, and then the receptionist was like, oh, everyone's like, it was windy and everyone's like, a lot of people are just sneezing and like itching. I'm like,
yeah,
I'm not. Wait a minute. Oh, this is working.
Right, right, so, yeah.
Like, okay, this was worth it then.
Wow. So, yeah. See, that's something I don't know if I've ever had. I mean, I've lived here my whole life pretty much, so I take an allergy pill. I don't know why I do. It's like something like it's a mental thing, I guess, because like I just went to Washington to visit my cousin for like 10 days. I forgot my allergy pills. So I was like, whatever. Do I really need them? But then I started to get like stuffy nose and like, I'm like, am I getting sick or is this like, and then I go back and forth. I said, I don't feel sick.
Yeah.
But then at my cousin's house, he had a couple of them had actual colds, fevers and colds and stuff. But like when I get sick, I don't get fevers anyway. So like literally all I had was like a little bit of a scratchy throat and a stuffy nose. And I was like, this feels like allergies. I don't feel bad. It's just like an irritant, So it almost felt like more allergies. So I got back here, I started taking it again, and it's gone. Yeah. So I'm like, maybe I do have allergies. I just don't realize that I have allergies, just because I've lived. I've heard you have to travel different places before you really start to, like you were saying, you guys are in Bakersfield. You didn't have that problem, but then you come here, and then all of a sudden you got these allergies.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Well, I don't really feel it when I travel, though.
No. Yeah. Just for like short period. Do you go pretty far for? What's the farthest you've gone for a wedding shoot?
I've gone to New York, Hawaii.
Dang.
Colorado.
When you go to those places, do you take the family with you, or do you go solo? No, it's too expensive, huh?
It's not too expensive.
Oh, okay.
Usually like if it's actually gonna be cheaper because they'll like pay for not all of them, but like
Okay.
Like probably my stay, and then I'll just pay for their travel and their food and stuff, but it's just more stressful.
Right.
It's kind of hard for me to be a part. Like they're enjoying themselves and they want me to be there, and like I don't travel like too far anymore. But when we go like my family's, I'm from the Bay Area, and my family's up there, and when we go up there and like I'm like, I have a wedding, let me just go, and it's just, I have to take the car, and it's just, it's not as fun.
Right.
But I'm like working, and they're like they want me to be there. And
right.
They're getting older, so they're a little bit more independent and stuff. They do more things without me, but it's more stressful. Like it's not enjoyable if like we all go. I'd rather just like, let's make a separate vacation out of it.
Yeah. Well, let's say, what if you went and then the wedding is obviously just the one day, right? So you do the shoot and then you went for a week.
Yeah. It's a good, in theory, it's a good idea, but like I have like a separation. I need to like, I also don't, I don't like traveling that much.
Oh, really? Okay. No matter which way, plane, car, doesn't matter?
No.
Okay.
I'm fine. I drive a lot. I put like probably like 40,000 miles on my car every year.
Okay.
But I'm fine with by myself.
Right.
I'm fine actually doing it. But I just don't like doing it. Right. It's just more of like bringing all my stuff. I'm like really paranoid about my gear.
Oh.
Too.
Like of somebody stealing it, or like okay.
And then just like forgetting something, and just like,
right.
It's like all my like. I'm OCD too about my clients' work too. Like after I'm done, I need to bring it home right away.
Right.
I need to back it up. And then I need to finish it.
Right.
I'm actually...
Right. You're like a perfectionist, kind of, or...
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm not a perfectionist. And it's funny. I could go really into that because... I turn around pretty quickly.
Okay.
For like my weddings and like I do photo and video and...
Right, which they probably appreciate.
They love it.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I get it... I showed a preview like that like during the wedding.
Oh, wow.
And then like I like for photos, I probably finish it the next day or video like a couple days afterwards, and they love it.
Right. Well, you're pretty well known too. I meet people that know you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, cool. and I see on Facebook. How many weddings are you doing? Like, that's probably slow season right now, but.
Well, this year's probably the slowest.
Okay.
But I average around 50.
Okay.
A year,
50 a year. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And you look like you have fun. You always do that big like selfie stick panoramic picture of you and the whole wedding party. That's always cool.
I haven't done that in a long time.
Yeah.
Like after COVID, I got really lazy. I haven't done that. And a lot of people ask that, but I do it when people remind me to. And I don't know. I think I just got more low key. After COVID, because I wasn't sure like who would want what to do or who was comfortable with what. So I was kind of like, it's played safe.
Right.
So.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's got to be. I'm no good at that at all. Like I can't take pictures to save my life. I can't do any of that stuff. But I look at people in that position, like you and like Allie. She's the one that, remember I saw you in AG that one time?
Video, yeah.
Yeah. So she's does that too, obviously.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I look at you guys and I'm like, oh man, that's kind of cool. You guys are flying all over the place and you're doing these shoots. And plus you get to be a part of these people's like most special day. Like, right. It's like, you're such a big part of that. Like, they're going to be looking at your photos for the rest of their lives. You know? It's like, there's pressure there, of course, but at the same time, what a cool thing to be a part of that, you know? Yeah.
And it's I know I have a lot of, I network a lot with photographers. I know a lot of portrait photographers that just do families, and they stress out over weddings, and then like there's vice versa. Like there's just wedding photographers that stress out over families. Oh, really? And stuff. But I love weddings. I mean,
is that your favorite thing to do? Is that all you do?
No.
Okay.
I'll do kind of whatever. I'm actually doing like a real estate shoot like after this, and then right after that I'm going to like I'm shooting some wine bottles. Like
okay.
At a winery.
Okay, for like a commercial or something, or like a Okay.
Yeah, like it's like marketing, like social media marketing for this winery. And this day was supposed to be really packed because of the weather. I was supposed to do another shoot for a venue like after.
Oh wow! And you had that all scheduled after this podcast?
Did, yeah.
Wow, man.
Yeah, but
you're brave.
But that got postponed, so I only have 2 after this. So
okay. Well, shoot.
Yeah, so I do a lot, but no, I love weddings the most, and a lot of people get stressed out, you know, and I get more stressed out over like the commercial stuff where I have like there's no one really around me, and like I have to that's where you have to be more of a perfectionist, right? And like everything has to be perfect, but at weddings you can't control. There's room for mistake, but not an intentional mistake. It's more like I had a few weddings I've been rained on this year. Like my first one was a pretty big wedding for a assemblyman, and there was like 300 people. Oh wow! It poured. My feet were so muddy. Like, it was muddy, and they had it was an intent, but like the floor was like grass. Right. It was grass and it was muddy, and so there's things beyond your control. Right. But for like a commercial shoot, it has to be perfect, you know. And, I mean, if it doesn't work, you have to redo it, you know. But for weddings,
there's no redo.
Yeah, there's no redo, which is a little stressful.
Like, hey, can you guys get married again? Because the shots didn't come out very good.
It's a little stressful, but like I don't know, like I've never missed a kiss, but like I mean.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm paranoid about that. Like I'm paranoid. Like as a photographer, I meet a lot of videographers, and as a videographer, I meet a lot of photographers, and I see a lot of people that are just kind of minimal and like don't. Right. I've seen them lose photos, you know, or just like miss a kiss, or you know, like so. Like I have probably more gear than most other photographers or videographers. Yeah. I kind of overdo it, you know, and kind of play it safe, and I think a lot of my friends are more on the creative side, and they just want to take more of the risk. I'm like, no, let me play it safe, get everything it needs to get. I don't want to try to win an award for like you know, right? Like a picture like hanging off the cliff or something. I just want to make sure I get every single picture, every single guest in the shot. You know, a shot of every single guest. Right. So my like philosophy with photography is like play it safe, make everyone happy. Yeah. Don't try to win an award. Right, exactly. So I have this same conversation with new photographers and like other like colleagues. Like, just play it safe. That's I should have a shirt. With, you know, should. Yeah. You know, Patrick Yang photography. Play it safe.
All those people that are gonna hire you, they're like, wait, what does that mean? Play it safe.
But with good photos.
Yeah. And it's probably gotten a lot easier. Yeah. With like even with like going over to digital, right? For photographers, isn't it? Oh, I've always started with digital. Oh, okay. So you've never done anything else? No. Okay. And I don't think I could. Okay. Yeah, because I mean, before digital, I don't think I would be a photographer because I kind of need that instant. Yeah. But you can imagine like how difficult it probably was for people before that, you know, before they had that option, you know, and now it's just like you can take all these shots and just put them all on a flash drive or whatever and send them off or email them to the technology has made it so much easier for photographers now to where back in the day, you're like, oh, I'm out of film. I didn't get all the shots I needed. You know, it's like all these different kind of things. Yeah. So, I mean, that's got to be a huge, it makes a lot. I wonder if there's a lot more photographers now than there used to be because of that.
There are so many photographers now.
Yeah.
And it's difficult. It's competitive. Mm-hmm. But I think the advantage I have is I'm a videographer too. So I actually do more video than I do photography. Okay. And,
right. And that's what you did at Chris's thing, right? You took the actual video of the song that we did in AG. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's what videographer is, right? Like taking video as opposed to yeah. I don't know anything about all the terms. I'm like, oh, I don't know how to do this.
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It's come a long way, and like a lot of people do it as a hobby too. So it's a struggle. Like when I first started, I reached out to other photographers, and there was like 10 in the area.
Oh wow. Yeah. That's it, huh?
Yeah, and then now there's just I probably know of 100.
Oh wow.
Personally, but there's probably like 1,000 that I don't know of in the area.
1,000 you don't know.
Yeah. Wow. Because a lot of people do it as a side job too.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, like you mentioned, like as a hobby, I know a lot of people that do that as a hobby. I mean, there's people in my own family that have done that from time to time. My dad dabbled in that for a while. My older daughter and my older son have dabbled in that before, just because it's fun. Yeah. You know, they have fun doing it, you know. Yeah. But you look at even like with like the selfies and it's like kids now are always taking pictures of something, you know, whether it's, hey, look what I'm eating, or, you know, here's a picture of me in my new makeup, or, you know, I mean, I see it all the time. I'm just like, it wasn't like that when I was a kid. You know what I mean? Like we didn't have the phones and the whole thing. So it just kind of makes you wonder, but,
if I start coughing, it's because I have too much sugar.
Oh no. Uh-oh.
No, I'll be good.
So I'm going to give you the opposite of what you had before you were on kicking sugar. Now,
now
I'm going to give you sugar overload.
Yeah. Do you have this every morning?
What's that?
Do you have this every morning?
I have it. Usually I have a hot one in the mornings. Yeah. Or I'll have a blended one in the afternoons. Yeah, I drink a lot of it. It's not good for you. As much as I drink, it's not good for you. But I'm kind of hooked on it.
Yeah. It doesn't taste like chai too much.
No, it doesn't. That's why when people say, oh, I love chai. I say, well, or even when they say, I don't like chai. Yeah. I say, just try this, because it's really not.
It's almost like a frappuccino.
Yeah. It's you know, and when you have a hot one, it might taste a little more like chai, but it's still very sweet. It's still very, you know, it's just, I just got hooked on them. They had them at the Library Cafe. Mm-hmm. The guy used to sell them there. There's the only place that had that brand that I knew of. But it's expensive. It's like, I'm dropping like $6-7. Yeah. You know, better pull it up before we start, otherwise people will know. But then that place closed down, and then I found out they sell the powder at.
Is there still like a little thing there?
There's nothing there. So the Kim family owned it before. I don't know if you knew them. Everybody in town knows Bobby and Jane Kim. They used to own a little cafe in the mall for a while. Yeah. Central City something. I forgot what it's called. Really nice family, Christian family. Was it the one
that did the juice place take over that, or?
No, it used to be where, do you remember where Decker's was before it is now?
No.
So Decker's used to be upstairs over by, kind of on the Macy's side.
Uh-huh. Oh, okay.
Like across from, in fact, I think maybe even World 1 Games went in there at one point, which is now where One Way used to be, because everything moves around constantly in that mall. But anyway, before it was Decker's, it was his little place, and then they moved into the Library Cafe when we opened the new library. And,
I haven't been here that long, so
and he ended up passing away. Is what happened. Yeah, it was a weird thing too, because he was just having like a routine surgery, and he just didn't make it through it.
How long ago was that?
Boy, that was probably 6-7 years ago now, probably.
Oh man!
And his wife Jane was trying to do it on her own, and it just wasn't panning out, so she eventually left. And then Moxie Cafe came in there for a while. Oh, we had a second Moxie in there, which was cool. I mean, the food was good. It was a little pricey for our clientele. So
Is Moxie like gone now?
I don't know. I heard it was out of business, and I haven't been over there to check because you hear that stuff all the time. And then
Well, you know what's
and it's not,
there now, right?
Oh, is there something else over there?
Oh, so it's a marketplace. They have. I'm not sure if they're open yet, but I keep on seeing ads. They have like a. It's like a. There's like an Italian place, a Chinese place, or like 4 restaurants in there.
All in that one spot?
Yeah.
In like the same building?
Yeah.
Like it's like a food court?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I think that's the thing now.
Okay.
Like a market.
That's
Food market
cool.
place.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to the Packing House in Anaheim?
Yeah.
That place is cool, man. My daughter brings us there whenever we go down to visit my daughter. She takes us there, and it's like, I mean, you got every kind of food you could think of in that place. It's really cool, you know?
Yeah.
So
I think Slow's trying to. I think everyone's trying to recreate that.
Yeah.
Because, you know, in Slow, off Tank Farm in Hagera, there's a little marketplace kind of thing there too.
Okay.
So I think that's a kind of a thing. That, people are trying to recreate like a little marketplace with a bunch of little like food court.
I mean, it's neat because there's
like
more
fancier
options,
food court,
right? Yeah, there's more options for everybody, and you know, but well, like the Packing House, you can't really call it a food court, even though it is like a food court, but it's like actual restaurants.
It's like a fancier food court.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know the difference between the food court and that is, but the one in Slow is pretty cool. It has like there's a vegan place, there's a chocolate place, a Thai. Nice. Thai is really good.
Yeah, I love Thai food.
A bao place. You know, like this.
Okay, that's BAO, right?
Yeah.
I've never had that, but it's getting popular now. Is
that one's not that good. So
is that like, okay, so you have to forgive me, I don't know what that means. Is that a type of food, or is that like a country that food comes
Chinese.
from? It's a Chinese
but
food.
It's steamed barbecue pork blend. So it's really good.
Like a dumpling almost, or
yeah.
Is it kind of like a dumpling filled with meat kind of thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's not. I'm not sure what the definition of dumpling is, but it's like more of a. I mean, I guess it's the same process of how it's cooked, but it's steamed.
Okay.
And it's like a breaded kind of thing, you know, but it's steamed. But
okay.
I always bring when I travel to the Bay Area, I bring the second shooters. I bring them to these Chinese restaurants. It's called dim sum. Have you heard that before?
I've heard the term dim sum.
Yeah. It's just a lot of different kind of, I guess, variety of dumplings. I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, but different stuff. So they get all excited.
Huh.
And I have like a little hashtag, culturizing this white boy.
yeah. You probably know all the good restaurants in that area, huh? 'Cause you used to live over there.
No, not anymore. There's just so many that are opening up. My hometown is like, it's completely changed because it's in Silicon Valley, so there's a lot of people coming in from there, and there's like a lot of tech companies, like Apple's. The headquarters is like a mile away from my old house.
Oh wow!
So there's just so many food places. Like I follow like a lot of foodie people, and then like they just point out, oh, it's in Sunnyvale, Cupertino, like where I used to live too. I'm like, oh, this is awesome. So, but yeah, that's kind of the central where all the food places are. But I've never heard. They're all new.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah, but no, but I
it's fun to try new stuff, but it's always cool to be able to go back what you know.
My family lives there, and they try all that stuff too.
Oh, so you have somebody there who can tell you, hey, we tried these. This is the good one. This one's not so good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I kind of find them on my own through social media too. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's what I always said. If I ever went to, I mean, I know we're just talking about San Francisco, which is not another country. But if I ever did go like to another country, like we talked about going to Japan, or we talked about going to all these different places, and I think it'd be awesome to go with somebody that lives like to go see somebody that already lives there, or because then they can show you where to go and what to do and stuff. You know, I
think social media is great on that aspect because a lot of people just like find hidden places, hidden gems. You know,
right?
But the one thing you should never do is take a tour.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's funny because so Christine went to New York. And then she went to New York with her coworkers, and she's the only Asian one, right? So her coworkers planned out like the trip, and like they for the most part they did great stuff, you know, like they saw a couple shows, they went to different places, but they did this food trip or this food tour, and they went through Chinatown. the food tour was led by a white guy, right?
Oh, wow.
And, like, Christine wanted to be nice and stuff, so she's like, "Oh, this is great." They took they went to this one place, and they had like pot stickers, right? And then her coworkers were like, "Wow, this is amazing! This is great." And Christine's like, "This is the same pot sticker you get from Costco."
Oh, wow.
And then the guy's like, "Okay, there's a secret dipping sauce. You know, the secret is put like vinegar and soy sauce." And she's like,
"It's the same stuff."
She's like, she has this like smile on her face, like, "What are you? This is."
Yeah. She should have taken over for him. So let me do the tour, sir.
I mean, he was nice. I never mind her friend. She didn't say anything because she didn't want to make her coworkers feel bad.
Right.
So hopefully they don't hear this, but.
I cut that part.
Hopefully they do. No, leave it on. Leave it on. I will tag them. I will send it to them.
Nice.
No, when I see them, actually, I want to say, "Hey, I heard you took my wife on a food tour led by a white guy."
Yeah.
And then they got this like boba or Thai iced tea. It was the size of a shot glass, you know. And she was like, it was just kind of weird. She was just like, "I wish you just asked me. I could have taken you to like really good places."
Right.
I mean, they were happy. They were fine.
Right.
But it's just kind of funny. Like we went on when I was younger, we went on a tour to Hong Kong, and don't ever go on a tour in China. It's just a tourist trap. They we were driving, took this bus, and they were so nice to us. They like took our picture and everything, and they they learned like Filipino words and stuff, and then we were driving to the city. I'm like, "Oh, this is cool. We're gonna go like to the city." And then we took this turn to this industrial area, like it was abandoned. We went into this warehouse. There was a monkey. It looked really cool, and like they said, "Okay, like you had to pay to like take a picture of the monkey, right?" And then we went in, and there was like all these like knockoff like Chinese art and stuff, and like they were just trying to sell us. There's like one guy there, and like there's no one around, you know, and he was trying to sell stuff. This is like, you know, this is like really ancient like artifact. I don't know, some stuff. And then my aunt bought something that was really expensive, and they signed the back of it saying that this is going to be yours, you know, and we'll ship it to you. And then like we're like not buying anything. They were nice to us at first, and then they lowered the price, and then when they figured out we're not going to buy anything, they just turned their backs and just like ignored us. And then at the very end, we're going on the tourist back. They took pictures of us in the beginning, and they put our pictures on these like plates. And they walked around and said like, and they handed all the plates to us, and then they started trying to collect money. And we're like, "No, I don't want it." He's like, then he tried to make us feel bad, like, we already paid for this, you know, and I'll give for this much. And he's like, I didn't ask for this. And then at the very end, like, he just sat like at the end of the bus, and he was just like, he looked really pissed off. It was complete 180.
Yeah.
So he just didn't want to.
You can tell that what they're really going for.
Yeah, but it's just. Yeah, I just never go on a tour. Period.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, so unless I knew somebody there, that probably is what we would end up doing. Because what's the other option is to wander around by yourself and get lost in some place that you're, you know. But that's why ideally I would like to, because I don't know if I told you or not, but we've had multiple exchange students over the years.
Yeah,
and most of them from Japan. We had a couple girls from Indonesia.
Oh, that would be awesome.
A girl from China.
Yeah,
I think we've had China twice. But it's mostly been Japan. We probably had 12 to 15 different students from Japan. And they've all told us, you know, come see us and come visit us. And they're all over the country. Like you look, they're from the top to the bottom, and they're all over the place. Or like one day we'll have to get out there and just like do a tour of the whole, you know, just travel around and see different people. But I mean, that's what would be cool to me, is just to stay with somebody and have them be your tour guide, because they know the area, they know what they're talking about, they know where the good places are, they know what's not a tourist trap and what is, you know, that kind of thing. So I mean, that would be ideal, right, eventually. But there's other places we've talked, I'd love to go to like England, Scotland, you know, view the old castles and stuff. But I mean, I don't know anybody over there, so I mean, that would be.
So where did you take the exchange students that came here? Where was the non-tourist traps for you here?
Oh boy, well that's funny. That's a funny question. So we always like to take them out to a restaurant. That's supposedly authentic, right, as far as where they're from, and it's always because we always like to listen to them tell us, okay, well we don't do this here. Like one of the funniest ones ever was there was this girl. Linda, who was from China. And we were talking about Panda Express, which I know is like Americanized food, right?
Yeah.
But we kept, my older daughter at the time, this was years ago, my older daughter at the time, her favorite thing is in the world like orange chicken.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, my favorite Chinese food is orange chicken. And Linda's like laughing. She's like, what are you even talking about? Like, what orange? She's like, she couldn't even pick. She goes, and she kept saying, we don't put orange with our chicken.
Yeah.
We don't put orange with our chicken. And then we ended up going to a Panda Express down in Santa Barbara at that mall down there. And then she got to see what it was. And she goes, yeah, we have this, but we call it something else. Like she was thinking like pieces of chicken with like orange slices or something along those lines. And, you know, so it's always kind of funny for them to see like the Americanized version of their food, you know?
Yeah.
And we took this last time we had a couple girls from Japan. Or was that, sorry, we had one, but then a friend of hers went with us to that as it's a festival. Ends with Bon. I'm going to mess up the word. Something Bon Festival. It was like a Japanese festival that they had right there at the downtown Santa Maria. And,
wow.
I keep wanting to say Ichiban, but that's the restaurant. Is Ichiban?
No, I know what you're talking about. My sister-in-law, she does. I actually filmed a couple of her ones in the Bay Area.
Okay.
I forgot what it's called though too.
Yeah, something Bon.
Yeah.
And then I want to say Autobahn. It's like no, that's birds. Or whatever.
That's not German. That's the
racing. Oh, is that racing?
Or like the freeway that you could go.
There's no speed limit.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's something like that. But it was interesting because they had Inari. Yeah. It's like the little bean curd pockets, right?
Yeah, Christine loves that.
Yeah, so Bethany loves those too. I don't know if you knew Bethany's part Japanese. You can't really tell, but she's her grandmother was full Japanese.
Yeah.
So anyway, she turned me on to a lot of that stuff that I had never eaten before when we first met and everything. But that Inari, the girls that were with us at this festival, they said, "Oh, this is just like home. This is
really?
Perfect. That they did this right or whatever." And then there was something else. There was some other Japanese dish that they had tried, and they're like, this is not good.
Well, a lot of the Japanese dishes here, like if anything's fried or like cooked,
right?
It's not. I mean, I think it's like Korean inspired, you know, or spicy, you know, like spicy tuna.
Right.
There's any sriracha in it. That's not. I think Japanese.
Right.
I think Korean, like fusion.
Yeah. See, there's probably a lot of fusion around here.
There's. I don't think there's really a lot of authentic. I mean, most Japanese restaurants are owned by Koreans too.
Okay. So what about like Hamasato?
I haven't been there.
Okay, that's where we took the girls this last time.
Oh, okay.
And that was cool because they were literally talking in Japanese to each other, just like
I'm
going.
Oh, really?
Whoa, you know.
Where is this?
It's over by. I think it's over by kind of where Panda is. In the back corner over there.
Better Arabia?
Yeah, on Better Arabia.
Oh, okay, I've been there.
It's over in the back area. Yeah, you can get the little rooms in there where you sit on the floor. And we didn't do it at that point. We just did the regular table, but I'm pretty sure that's where it is. I always get them confused. As far as I'm so bad with directions and where things are.
Yeah.
I deliver pizzas. I don't know. If it wasn't for GPS, I think I would just probably get lost constantly. So but Bethany's definitely the navigator for me. So you just go to music first. We talked a little bit through the email. Do you consider yourself like a music fan, do you think? Or are you more...
Yeah, but I love... I mean, I listen to a lot of music, but I don't know who plays what. I just, whatever's on, I hear it.
Okay. You like listen to the radio and you just like certain stuff?
Not radio anymore. It's funny because we have a CarPlay and stuff in my car, and my daughters can look up songs and we rented a car and had a radio, and she's like pushing buttons. Search for a song. I'm like, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah. Plus, you never know what they're going to come across these days on some of those stations. You know, it's like, oh no, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Would you have like a certain genre that you prefer, or
growing up, I listened to hip hop and house and what a beat, but I've just go to weddings. I've just listened to so many different things, and I never thought I'd like country. So like I had a live band play, and it was like awesome.
Oh, okay, yeah. See, when I was younger, I always say I like everything but country.
Yeah.
Right, because I was like you. I grew up with hip hop. That's all I would listen to.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I got into rock later on and the grunge stuff and all that. But then even then, I was like, I like everything but country.
Yeah.
But now there's a lot of country that I like.
Yeah.
You know, it's good. Some of it, you know, but some of it I still hate. But
yeah.
But so like now as an adult though, like with your kids and stuff and your wife, like do you?
I have to change it.
Okay. But you still enjoy hip hop? Obviously a lot of it you can't play it in front of the kids and stuff.
I can't play it in front of the kids.
Yeah.
I have to turn on the worship.
Yeah. This is. How about like? Do you ever listen to any like the Christian rappers and stuff that are?
No, not like when I've heard it, it was cool, but I've never really like. I guess had a chance to or thought about it.
Yeah, there's quite a few good ones. I mean, some of it's pretty cheesy, and the quality's not as good as like you're not going to get something like you're not going to hear like a Christian Tupac or a Christian something that's really good. You're not going to be like, okay, this is really good. But there are some pretty decent ones out there that are pretty good. So
actually, I was at my gym and like we were talking, and they mentioned like AI rap, which is crazy. And I think like
all that AI stuff is goofy, man.
Yeah, like I'm not really like paying attention until like people bring it up.
Yeah,
there's a lot of AI in photography and video, and I'm not. I don't know. I think I'm getting to the point where I don't want to learn anything new.
Right. Right.
Like I should.
You're an old dog that doesn't want to learn new tricks.
Yeah. I mean, things work. I mean, I'm still like getting work too, so
yeah.
I'm trying to keep up, but like I don't want to.
Yeah.
Like on the social media like aspect, I don't want to learn too much of.
Right.
I'm not on TikTok.
I've never been on TikTok.
I don't want to.
I wouldn't even know how to use it. Yeah. I don't have Instagram even. I have Facebook and I barely know how to use that. And I'm not techie at all.
But like, I mean, it's a lot of people are pushing me to do it because there's a whole demographics that I get, but I don't want to.
Right. Yeah. And what's the reason for that? I mean, I just
want to learn it. And
okay. Do you see it as a detriment? I guess what I'm asking. Like, do you look at today's technology, like even with? I mean, I don't know what your guys' rules are with your kids and technology, but I mean, do you see it as a detriment to the youth that's growing up?
Oh yes.
Okay.
Yeah. We've been pretty good about it. Like they don't have like social media or like phones or anything. We got them like these Gab watches that they can contact us with, but there's no like internet access on it.
Yeah, so that's where we're at too. Yeah, it's just too scary to allow that.
We have like parental controls. They have tablets and computers to.
For school, right? It's like they're forced to use that stuff now.
I put like a lot of filters on stuff on there, but like they have gotten on YouTube and they know what's bad. I mean, some like stuff has gone across that we didn't know, but they're. I mean, we have a pretty. They're pretty honest with us. They tell us like I saw something that was really like inappropriate. Like it wasn't that bad too.
And they'll tell you. That's good.
Yeah,
that's
great.
Good.
And
okay.
And I'm like, okay, well, thanks for letting me know. Like, so, I mean, just...
It's one of the benefits of having girls, I think.
Yeah.
Like, if my son saw something, he'd be like, hey.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, as a young boy, you're like, you see something like a girl in a bikini or something, you might be a little more prone to be like, hey.
I talk about growing up, but then I tell you, don't put that in there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, but I think it's a huge detriment because, I mean, I have a lot of like second shooters, like assistants that I bring on sometimes, and I'm just kind of curious. I like ask them like, what's it like? What's it like dating now? Like,
right.
Like, what's it like being out there? Like, I mean.
Totally different than when we were younger.
Yeah.
Totally different.
I mean, I think it's great that like the kids are like homeschooled, and what's great is the community that we have too. But like not to say that all public schools are horrible, but like I did some, I made some videos for all the high schools and stuff. I made like, these like promo videos for them, and I walked around every high school, and there's some great stuff there.
Sure.
There's some like amazing programs.
Right.
But there, I mean, like I walked in, I saw some like I was at Rigetti and like I saw a fight, you know, there, and then just the things I hear, just the things that they tell me, you know, and like when we went to I took Lily to the fair, the Strawberry Festival.
Oh, okay.
And there's a bunch of kids that like, it's just, I don't want to even talk about too much because it's just different than us growing up. And like, and I asked my 20-year-old assistants, like, what's it like here, you know, what was it like when you were in high school, you know, and like with social media and just dating now or just like connecting with people and like, and I tell them that's sad, that's depressing. And I tell them like, let me go into like TV shows, and I tell them I love TV shows that were like based in the 80s. Like, I was never into like sci-fi or horror stuff, but I love Stranger Things.
Oh, dude, because it reminds you of being a kid, right?
Yes. Not because of like, you know, I mean, I started to like I could like this, like that.
Right, the sci-fi part's cool, but see, for me, the whole point is like, this is my childhood. The cars and the music and the everything. Like this last season where they're in the roller rink and they're playing, it's like, dude, this is my childhood. Like, this is awesome.
Looking at each other, interacting. They're not like looking at each other, then looking back at their phones.
Right.
And it wasn't like I would tell them, like, you know, when I was in high school, and I liked a girl, I would like ask her friends, you know. I wouldn't go on social media and like her stuff, you know.
Right.
I would ask her friends, and then I would send a note. And then you know, like when I get to probably like a weekend, maybe a month in, I'd like finally get her number, and then I'd run home, wait by the phone, you know, wait for it to ring.
Right.
I'd yell at my brother and my sister if they were on the phone because we didn't have call waiting. Or if they'd go on AOL, you know, the dial-up, like get off the phone. And when they do call, you know, like we would have this conversation. And then, or I mean, before that, like I would, you know, before the call even happened, I would like write a letter, you know, like, or that was earlier on. But then when pagers happened, we would like send pagers and stuff, and we would like write long letters and then like think about it, you know.
Right.
And then the next day I would just like have all this like anticipation, like all this thoughts go in my head, and I would like pass it on to her friend, or they would pass it on to each other, and then I'd wait another day. And like I'd think about it a lot, you know, and it's just like there's just so much stuff going on, like, and that was like the drama. But like now it's just like a post, you know, and it's like, oh, this guy, and then everyone sees it, and like, oh, you like this girl and this, and like, and then or even on the other side, like, you know, someone posts something embarrassing, like, and everyone in the world, not just your school, everyone in the world sees it. And who's this? And then this whole new term, or this term viral, you know, like everyone sees it, like you just.
And kids are killing themselves sometimes over that because their whole reputation is tarnished, you know? It's horrible.
But I would just kind of reminisce and tell them like what it was like for me growing up. And this, I mean, it was awesome. It was, I mean, it was great, you know, like we'd go out before we had cars, we'd like go skate and go meet up somewhere, you know, and like, and just like hang out, go get a drink and just like, talk to each other.
Yes.
You know?
It's totally different now.
And then go to people's houses, you know, and just like, you know, talk about, like my friend had a trampoline, we'd go hang out there. We'd go like to this burger, it was Frosty's?
Foster Freeze? Oh, Dairy Bell.
Dairy Bell is like across the street from the house. We'd go there, save up my money, and like get like a strawberry milkshake, you know.
Nice. Save up your money. Yeah, there's another concept you don't hear anymore.
Oh yeah. And then go on dates, you know, and hold hands.
Yeah,
you know?
Which was a big deal, right?
Yeah.
When it first happens. Now it's like there's none of that. It's just that's normal. It's like that's why the sexual activity is so much higher now at such a young age, and it's crazy.
When I think when I was I didn't go to like a really prestigious schools. You know, I mean they weren't horrible either, but like I mean, if we saw a cop come to our school, like I think like a cop came once to our school. I forgot what, and it was like, whoa, this is what's going on,
right?
You know, we've never had like active shooter drills or anything.
Oh
like that,
no,
you know?
yeah.
It was. I mean, we had an open campus. Everyone would go to lunch, and like when we were a junior, and like we had a car, and like or before we had a car, we just look at the juniors like, oh man,
yeah,
can it's a ride,
yeah, right.
Can you just get us like some fries or something?
Yeah, exactly.
That and it was just so much more fun back then.
It's just different, and it's sad, and and then you get to the point where like, but we're raising our kids in this current world. So then you're like, well, what do you do? And as for Christians, it's you try to protect them, you try to but then there's, I guess people are all over the spectrum as far as how far they're going to go with, you can't shelter your kids from. It's like, well, people say that to me, and I'm like, well, but you do shelter your kids. You're just saying you don't shelter them as far as I do, right? Like everybody has a line there somewhere. It's like, well, you should let your kids watch porn? No way. Why not? You're sheltering them. Oh, I'm not going to let. Right. So that's my point. You're saying that's something and I agree with you. You shouldn't expose them to that. I'm not saying you should, but that's your limit to where I might go even farther and say, well, I don't let my kids watch a rated R movie, or I don't let my kids watch this movie or this TV show, or for whatever reason. Yeah. And some people will criticize me for that and say, well, you can't totally shelter your kid. And it's like, well, I don't know, man. We can't.
I think we're trying to do as much as we can, and like for the most part, my wife and I are on the same page. But I think when I grew up, I did smoke weed, not a lot, and I tried a couple different things too. But
you grew up in the Bay Area? Yeah. Well, that's. We got the good stuff up there, right?
Actually, I didn't know about it. I went to Cal Poly. I was pretty good. I think it was just, I just made right friends in high school, but I made a lot of friends in college.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
So in college, I got introduced to all that stuff. I never really started drinking or like smoking until college. Right. So it should have been the other way around, but it kind of worked out. I made it all the way through.
Yeah, somehow.
But no. So I never really had any Bay Area good stuff. I just had Central Cal.
Gotcha.
But I'd tell my wife I don't want to shelter them completely, but I want to be there if they want to try stuff. Right. Like if they're curious, like do it in front of me.
Yes.
And.
Well, that's like a philosophy. I think my aunt held that philosophy when we were younger too. Like, because I have cousins that are younger than me, but. It was more the idea that, look, I know you're going to, like, when our kids are in high school, I know you're going to drink. Yeah. I know you're going to go to parties. I know you're going to do this. So do it here. Yeah. Have your friends here, or whatever the case may be, and do it here, because then at least as the parent, you're in somewhat of a control of it, right? Like you're not, they're not going to let them go driving when they're drinking, or those kinds of things that, no parent wants that phone call. Yeah. But the other side of that coin is, does that make it look to the child like you're condoning that like you're showing the child, oh, this is okay for you to do when you're 16 to get hammered, or whatever, or to smoke weed, or whatever the case is, and there's comes fine lines there, It's like, oh, I don't know.
Well, the goal is to have them like feel really horrible that
drink some more. Hope you throw up all day tomorrow.
That they realize, oh, this is horrible. I'm not doing this again. I'm like, see, I told you. Right. But I controlled it.
Right. And that's true, right? There's definitely some life lessons that need to be learned by experience, right?
But then if they take my wife straight, see, like I have really low tolerance. So if I smell beer, like I'll be faded.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Well, now I'm just but my wife, on the other hand, she's like, I don't think she's ever been drunk. Okay. So that could totally backfire at me, and if my girls actually enjoy it, then like gosh, that totally backfired. Right. Addictive, they love it, they think it's okay.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I I think each parent needs to make those decisions. I don't sit there and try to say, well, that's the wrong way and my way is the right way, and our kids are all different too. We need to look at how they respond, how they act, again.
Yeah, and I think we shelter them a lot, but we do they do see like what's going on. I think the homeless population is kind of growing. And we kind of explain to them. Yeah. There's hard times, and then there's like, bad choices too. Right. And like, there's some people that, and they see like certain things, too. So they see the effects of things, so they know, they're very observant. They see the effects things. So I think that like when the time comes, if they want to try stuff, I think they'll know what's good,
Yeah.
Hopefully, yeah.
Do you think they will? Like based on their personalities right now, do you think they
Not
will?
one.
Okay.
Not Sophie, but Lily. I think she will.
Lily's a daredevil.
Yeah. Yeah. Like we treat them differently because we know like Sophie's like she's and I think it's like an older first child, second child set like
right.
And my brother and I were different. He was more cautious, and still to this day he's very cautious. Like me, I was like just dive in the deep end, see what happens. And she's like that too. Lily, I think she hasn't broken anything yet.
And how old is she right now?
11.
Okay.
But she's pretty daring. I mean, she's been to the hospital a couple of times. Like she's does gymnastics, so she like flips around the house a lot. And she fell on her head twice a day.
Ooh. Stitches?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, we went to check it out and everything, but
you always got to check for concussion these days, right?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I think like my older one, she's gonna be really cautious. I think we're fine with her. I mean, we're not too worried about her, but Lily, if she like has, I mean, she's very similar to me. She's very outgoing. She's very like daring. She'll eat past when she's full.
Right.
Like me.
Right. And, I do that too.
Yeah.
That's why I stay so slim, Yeah.
It's called dad bod.
That's right.
Yeah.
I think we just kind of give up. You're like, well, I already got my woman. I mean, who am I trying to impress?
Exactly.
But then you read all those marriage books and like, well, you should still want to impress your wife. What? Come on. So, all right. Well, let's see. Where should we go next? Politics. Want to go in there? I know you love that stuff. So I usually just ask, I mean, I think I already know the answer to this, but do you consider yourself a political person? You would probably say no, right?
Yeah, no. I'm not quiet about it. It's just like, I don't know too much. I feel, I'm not very, well, I guess I'm not very vocal about it.
Right.
Because I don't know, I can't back myself up, I mean, I have my agreements, my disagreements with certain things, and
right.
But I just like if I when there are people when I get in conversations with people that are very very vocal about it, I just kind of quiet about it.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what to say.
Right.
I don't really pay attention too much on like what's going on to like say, well that's wrong, because of this. And then someone will say something else. I'm like, oh, okay, that's a good point. Never mind.
Well, you seem like a pretty laid back guy anyway.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't see you as a very controversial person.
No, I try to avoid.
But do you ever see, like, is there anything that goes on in the world, or like you watch the news, or anything that kind of gets your blood boiling at all, to where you get pretty upset about it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think in the past couple of years, what's just the separation of everything, of people, just taking sides, just really bothered me, and I think I'm fine saying that I'm not vaccinated, and
yeah, me neither.
Yeah, I'm fine saying that, and if people ask me, I'm not gonna like go on social media and say like, I'm not vaccinated. If you are, you're dumb. Or I'm not gonna say that.
Right.
I don't think they're dumb too. We just don't know.
Yeah.
And then what really bothered me, and just picking like a political side too, is just like, it's just what really makes my blood boil too is when you pick a side and you think the other side is just like completely wrong or just
right, or they need to die.
Yeah,
right. That's some. Oh, you disagree with me? You should be dead.
Yeah, I had
what?
A friend said, I had a friend say like, if you're voting for Trump, just in front of me right now. I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Why can't I have like an opinion?
Right.
Or if you I don't know. Social media is.
That's the one I was gonna say. That's the one topic that seems to be such a breaking point for people, and I've had people on this podcast before where they've said that exact thing.
Yeah.
They said, if you voted for Trump, or if you're any kind of Trump supporter, just don't tell me, because I won't be friends with you anymore.
Yeah.
I can't even talk to you anymore. It's like, why? Like, what in the world? Like, can't we just talk about like what's wrong and what's not? But like something about Trump.
Yeah.
Just rubbed people a way that was just horrendous. Like, they're just like, that guy is Satan. He needs to be dead. It's like, whoa, I don't agree with everything he does either, but Satan? I don't think he's Satan.
Yeah, people make bad personal choices and stuff, but it's just that's them. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, if they do a different job, then
Well, thank you. That's kind of where I stand, right?
Yeah,
is that
exactly.
it's like I don't care as much how nice a guy my president is, or about his personal life. I mean, that stuff's important, but it's not the important thing. It's not like I care how he's going to run the country. Mm-hmm. Oh, well, he cheated on his wife 30 years ago. Mm-hmm. Do you agree with that? Well, no, of course I don't agree with that, but I'm not going to let that be a deciding factor on whether or not I think he can run the country 30 years after that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, I mean, that's kind of where I stand. And I look at Trump
I'm on the same.
And I look at Biden, and it's like, oh, well, Biden's a nicer guy. That may be, but he's also destroying the country in a lot of ways, So it's kind of like, oh man, I don't know. But I mean, I was never political at all.
Yeah.
Probably until 2015, 2016, when Trump got in, and then all the stuff was being said, and I started to see. I guess I really started to focus on the way media presented things versus the reality of things, and that kind of thing, and that's what really kind of got me into it. So I mean, if someone just walked up in the street, "How are you a political person?" I'd be like, "No, not really." Yeah. I'm passionate about certain issues, and that can be deemed political. Mm-hmm. I mean, like I was asking you, if I'm watching the news and I see things, it's like, oh my, are you kidding me? Yeah. Really? Somebody's okay with this? Are you joking? And it's just, it just seems like we're going so many weird directions now. And it's like, what in the world's going on? Yeah. But yeah, so what would you consider to be the most important issue facing our world today? I know that's a broad question. Yeah. But it's kind of like, if you were elected to some form of office, what would be your number one thing? Yeah, I know. I wouldn't either.
I think the biggest problem that we've had in the past couple of years is just the indifferences, and just being able to I don't know. See, again, like I said, I'm not very vocal.
Yeah, parts. You're talking about like divisions and like this. Yeah. Like you were talking about the polarization a minute ago.
Accept, if you're Democratic or Republican, that's fine,
Sure.
But let's just, we don't have to. We could disagree, but we can agree. Like my whole family, they did not like the fact that I was. They were all vaccinated, and they didn't like that I was unvaccinated.
Right.
And there was a little bit of tension with me, and they all got we got sick. We all got it.
Oh yeah.
And we were sick for a day.
Yeah.
Right. They had it really bad.
Right.
Some of them got really bad, but I didn't.
And they're vaccinated.
Yeah. I didn't rub in their face and say see.
Right. Right.
But it was what's funny was
you thought it though, didn't you?
Yes, I did. No, so what was funny is just my aunt was she was really upset, and she didn't want us to be near them, or we had a cousin that just came from the Philippines, and she was pregnant. She said, we don't want them near us. Okay, it's fine.
Yeah,
that's fine. Whatever. But then her daughter, my cousin, she got really sick. And she went to go visit her and take care of her. I'm like, you're elderly, and you have. She's had she's had breast cancer, and
wow,
she's
high risk. Yeah.
And why? She's. What was really funny was when people would say, I thought it was just really funny. Was it's okay, I'm vaccinated. You have to wear a mask.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Yeah. Well, it's all the I know they have different words for it, misinformation or disinformation, all stuff, but it's I think the media scared people to death to the point that they're not even looking at facts anymore. Yeah. They're just remembering all the bodies piled up in New York, and they're being told this could be any of you. Yeah. They weren't told that 99% of those were over 80, or whatever, and you got all these 30, 40 somethings that are scared to death, and they're driving around by themselves in a car wearing a mask as if breathing the air outside is going to kill you at any second, and it's just sad. And I said back then that if I go into a concert or something, and I yell fire really loud, and there's a stampede and everybody's rushing to the doors and 4 or 5, say 20 people are killed. They're trampled and killed. Who goes to jail? I do, right? Why? Not because I killed anybody, but because I sparked, I gave false information that sparked something that caused the death of 20 people. Yet when COVID hit, the media comes out and they're saying all this stuff that a lot of it has now been proven to have been flat out lies, for whatever their reasons were. And a lot of people died because of it, because of these lies. And I'm like, well, what happens to them? Nothing. Nothing. They still continue to do it today. They still continue to, it's just like, oh my gosh, like that's the kind of stuff that just irritates me.
Yeah. So, that irritates me. And I think not just that, but like, I just sides and just I think everyone there's I always see it on social media and these like parodies of like there's this one of Key and Peele, I think. Oh yeah. And like this guy's trying to interview. He's I just watched it yesterday. One's portraying the black community, and one's a woman, and one's portraying the gay community. So,
okay.
And, like, he asked a question, and everything's offensive.
Of course.
It was hilarious. Like he said, like he raised his hand, so then the black guy's like, "Whoa, I'm gonna shoot you," and then the woman's like, "Whoa, yeah, they're trying to touch my breast."
Right.
And then the guy's like, "Whoa, are you putting your hands up like it was just like everything's offensive,
Yes.
And like that, that just kind of bothers me,
Yeah.
Like I mean,
because people are looking for offense.
Yes,
they're looking for it. Yeah,
so that's what really bothers me right now. Like I'm open-minded, like I'm Christian, but I shoot like gay weddings, and I'm fine with it.
I was going to ask you about that because you have a unique perspective on that. Because I know people that wouldn't even go to a gay wedding, but it's if it's your job.
My belief is like I know it's like against it's against the Bible and everything.
Sure.
Like I'm fine with it.
Right.
I'm so long as whatever your belief is. So long as you're not imposing it on people or you're not hurting people, I'm fine with it.
And I think that's most Christians' beliefs, to be honest with you. I mean, most of them are like, I think it's sinful. Yeah. But we don't live in a Christian ordained country where we're supposed to follow the rules of the Bible. It's like if somebody wants to live that lifestyle, that's their right to live that lifestyle. But then you got to separate like work from sometimes your morality and say, well, I can work over here. Well, like you go back to the wedding cake that happened, was it Chicago or somewhere? I forgot where it was, where the gay couple had gone into the cake. I don't think it was Chicago. I think I'm wrong there, but they went into the thing and said, can you make us a wedding for our gay marriage? And he says no. It goes against my morals. And there was a big lawsuit, and I think he ended up winning. The baker ended up winning. His name is Jack something. Ended up winning the thing. And I think that's something each individual person needs to decide for themselves, and decide whether or not you feel like, almost like you're condoning it by doing that. Maybe that's a moral issue for somebody or not. Maybe you can just say, look, I'm not condoning it. I'm just making a cake. I'm just shooting a wedding. I'm just taking pictures. It doesn't mean I'm out here at a gay pride parade, with my rainbow flag and supporting the community, but they want me to take their pictures during their wedding. Okay. So, but that's obviously one of the biggest issues of contention, right? And I think
I'm fine with it. I support them too, but so long as you don't like impose it on other people and you don't like hurt, and it doesn't hurt other people too. So
Right. And I don't know why so many Christians put it as like the number one cardinal sin. Like I've talked to people before about like with our kids or even for themselves, they're watching a TV show. I don't have a good example off the top of my head, but let's say it's a show that has rated R profanity and it's got a couple sex scenes, maybe even some nudity in it, right? Yeah. And this Christian couple's like, no problem. This is one of my favorite shows. I keep watching this. As soon as they introduce a gay character, I can't watch that show anymore. No way. I can't support that show. Yeah. And I'm like, you do realize there was a bunch of other sinful stuff in the show before the gay character came in. So why is that the breaking point for you? Like,
I think that's just kind of the same lines of like Trump thing and everything.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's just interesting. how that works, you know, and I don't know why that is. I've talked to people before. Some people say, oh, it's because of the agenda, right? Like you were saying, it's when they're pushing it in your face.
Yeah.
So I guess for you, when you say I'm fine with it as long as they're not pushing it on me, like what would be an example of that for you?
Well, no, I'm not saying it's wrong or anything too. I mean, I know I kind of almost like don't agree with it in the Bible too, because like, I mean, if that's how they feel and like they're not hurting it or imposing it and saying this is the way it should be, you know, then I'm fine with it. And like I'll post on my social media, on my website, like gay marriages too. And like I had like a church friend like say, you should probably take that out. I'm like, I don't want to. I'm like, they're happy and and they're just as, I mean, their clients just like all my other clients, do, you know, and like, and they had a beautiful wedding. And I'm proud to show it. So
How did that person respond to your response?
He was just quiet. He didn't respond to that either. But
stop talking to you. Avoids you at church now.
this is in Bakersfield.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, if people have a problem with me treating it, then like I'll just go stay on your side. Then it's fine.
Yeah.
But
so are you saying then that, and this is just I guess a more personal question, but I mean, so you read the scriptures, and obviously there's some very pretty strong scriptures that indicate that, right? That it's sinful. So you said a few times, so do you disagree with that part of scripture, or do you like interpret it differently, or are you saying that you do think it's sinful, but you just in your own personal life you choose to just want them to live however they want to live and leave them alone? Because
I kind of disagree with the scripture a little bit, because I mean it says that a man should be with a woman and stuff.
Right.
Like if my kids turned out, if they were like that way, I would support them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, would you have any issue? Would you be disappointed at all? Like if one of your daughters was a lesbian and got married to them? Okay.
Yeah.
No part of you would be disappointed at all, huh?
No.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think. Well, I probably shouldn't say, but whatever. I probably shouldn't speak on other people, but I would. Right. I wouldn't be disappointed.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
See, I guess I think I wouldn't be one of those parents that would be like, oh, you're gay, then you're no longer my child. Mm-hmm. You're excommunicated from the family. I never want to talk to you again. Get out of my life.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be that guy, but I also think I would struggle with using the word support. I mean, I would support my kid no matter what, because they're my kid. Like it's the same as if, and I know people in the LGBT community hate this example, but it's just, it works. If my kid's addicted to drugs, right? I don't love him any less. Mm-hmm. I don't support him any less. I'm going to continue to try to help him and try to love him, and he should know he always has a place here with me and that kind of deal. But that doesn't mean I support his drug use.
Yeah.
You know, I don't support the lifestyle that he's chosen to live, and but it's because of my care for him, right? I don't want to get a phone call one day, oh, your son OD'd, he's dead, you know, or whatever, you know.
Yeah. Well, like I said, like if it's hurting themselves or other people, then I'm not going to support it, you know. Right. But like if they're happy and like it's not hurting anyone, then I'll support.
Okay.
So,
do you think it's possible for somebody to be happy and it still be hurting themselves or others and just not realize it?
Oh yeah, I think people on drugs are going to be happy.
Right. I mean, yeah, that's back to that example, of course, too. But I mean, like I guess you hear stories of people that lived even the homosexual lifestyle for many, many years. That I used to watch a show with Lee Strobel. I don't know if you know who Lee Strobel is. He wrote Case for Christ, Case for Faith. But he had a show called Faith Under Fire, where he would have two opposing viewpoints. It's like a talk show, and they would kind of debate civilly, which was cool. But on that show, there was a lot of people that there would be a debate between two people that were professing Christians, one that was in a homosexual lifestyle, one that used to be but is no longer, right? And the people that are in that camp, they generally, I'm just kind of blanketing, summarizing what most of them will say. They would say, I thought that was the right thing to do. And this one guy was saying he'd even been with over 200 different male partners in his lifetime, and now he was married to a woman. He was trying to follow Christ. And the interesting thing to me about it was he said, it's not that I don't desire men. he said, I still have a sexual desire for men.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm still gay in that sense, right? He says, I'm just choosing not to live that lifestyle because I think it's against the Lord. So I look at that and I go, whoa, that's
Mm-hmm.
pretty bold, right? And then the guy on the other side is like, well, no, God's fine with this lifestyle that I'm living and we're happy. And so anyway, my point with that was, in the one guy's case, if you were to talk to him 20 years prior, when he was in those relationships with all those other men living a homosexual lifestyle, are you happy? Oh, yes. But then you talk to him 20 years after the fact and say, do you think you were causing harm to yourself back then? And he would say yes. So even though they could be happy at one point, he didn't realize he was harming himself. Of course, that's not everybody.
Yeah.
That's not going to be everybody. It's just interesting to me to, the happy thing is always what kind of makes me start thinking, because I think happiness is fleeting.
That's an interesting question topic too.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, I think, I don't know, if you're living a lifestyle and you're truly happy, but you're not, if you're doing it with some like a little ulterior motive, you know, I think you're not really being. Not sure if I'm answering. Like, that's kind of new. That's kind of I've never really thought about that. But just kind of going back, like, so long as you're not hurting anyone or you're not doing it like for any alternative reason, you know.
Right. Maliciousness, like you're.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But if you're truly happy and without hurting anyone, and like it like truly makes you happy, you know, I think that's fine.
Yeah. You think it's fine with God too?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Not really taking a stance on that. You're just saying your personal belief is.
Because I don't just like going with like, you know, I don't know the right answers, you know, like if being vaccinated is the right answer, or being like, you know, being like Democratic or Republican, you know what the right answer is, you know, but like so long as you're not like hurting, I don't know what, you know, what's going to happen afterwards too, if it really, if you know, if it's the day of judgment, you know. I mean,
right. I guess it all goes down to like what each individual Christian believes about the scripture, right? If that's solid 100%, or if it's take some of it, leave some of it, you know, because with issues like Democrat, Republican, or vaccinations, you're not going to find any of that in the scripture, right? So I know a lot of people like to think that Jesus was a white middle class Republican, but you know, I hate to break it to you.
I don't know what the right answer is. And I'll admit that, but I think a lot of people think they know what the right answer is.
Right.
Just kind of impose it on people, and that's what kind of bothers me.
Or they pick an answer that they like.
Yeah.
Right. Like even a lot of Christians are maybe well-meaning, but not informed enough to really.
Yeah, and I'm not informed enough to know like everything too. So like, I don't. That's why I'm not very vocal about things, because I'm not well informed, and I can't like. I'll always say I don't think I'm right, but this is what feels right to me.
Yeah. Well, that's good. I mean, that makes you better than a lot of other people.
I don't think I'm better than a lot of people too, but I don't think I'm better than a lot of people, but I'm happy.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And
well, just the idea of not speaking on something that you really don't feel like you have all the facts and knowledge to speak on, you know.
And when people are very like vocal about things, I'll just kind of back down and listen, you know. And
I bet your wife loves that. Like you go to marriage counseling and they always say that the wives want a husband who just is going to listen to them. You know, that's something I struggle with in my own marriage. And, you know, we've gone through the marriage counseling, and that's always been my biggest thing. Like, because I'm a talker. Like, I'm always talking. I'm just 24/7 talking. And sometimes, you know, Bethany's like, well, I just want you to listen. That's like a foreign concept to me. It's like, just listen.
I'm the opposite. It's funny because, like, when she goes out with friends, she's like, they go like late, you know, they talk like, what else can you guys talk about?
Right.
It's like talked on the phone before you met.
Yeah.
And what else do you talk about? And then when you go out, I mean, there's not much to talk about.
Yeah.
Like,
how's your food? Oh, pretty good. Mine too. Yeah.
Let's go home. And when I'm out with like when you said 3 hours, what are we gonna talk about for 3 hours?
Yeah.
Or like when I'm out with my friends too, I'm like, okay, so.
Right.
Is that it? I'm gonna go home now.
Yeah.
I used to do that a lot when I was when I was like in college. And I go like hang out with. It's hard for me to say goodbye, and probably when this ends, I'm gonna just say, "Can I go to the bathroom and just leave?"
Yeah.
But that was my like escape route. Like whenever I was at a party, I didn't want to like have that like goodbye thing, you know. I said, I'll be right back, and I just left. Do
you consider yourself kind of socially awkward, or do you think you're kind of...
No.
Because I wouldn't think so, seeing your line of work and the way that you're...
I know.
I mean, you're meeting strangers all the time.
Yeah.
And hundreds of them at a time sometimes.
I think I maybe was socially... well...
Were you shy as a kid?
No. I mean, I made friends easily.
Okay.
I didn't keep friends, like a long term. Like, I don't have any childhood friends. Like, I guess like I'm social. Like I'll go out and talk to people, but then like there's like a separation. Like when I'm done, I'm just gonna go home. Mm-hmm. And I don't do a good job maintaining friendships.
Okay.
Like I haven't had like a childhood friend that I've kept in touch with, or high school or college. And like I mean social media is like kind of helped me there, but
right.
But I don't like sometimes I watch shows like with. One of these like best friends. I don't have a best friend, except for my wife.
Yeah. You gotta say that.
My wife's. I don't know. I want to say that. Yeah. I'm not obligated to say that.
Well, I was just going to ask you though. Before you even said that, I was going to ask you, since you don't have a lot of close male friends, or you don't have a lot of people you hang out with, and often or for long periods of time, you probably do grow closer to your wife then. So you like to kind of be a homebody and hang out with your wife and daughters. And, So that's good. That's a good thing.
Yeah, and like I prefer it. Like I don't like to travel.
Right.
I don't like to do stuff. I just like I mean like when every year my girls like ask me, what do you want to do? Let's go out for my birthday.
Oh yeah.
I kind of just want to stay at home.
Yeah. See.
Just be quiet. And just like sit next to me and take care.
And then, like, in other words, the same thing we do every day.
I could do this. I mean, I could do the same thing every day for the rest of my life. I would be happy.
What would that be though? Like what?
So you want to know my daily routine?
Yeah, like what? Like if you could pick the one day that you would live, like Groundhog Day, you're living the same day over and over again. What would be those things that you're doing?
Well, my kids do school, and I think Groundhog Day would be like if they could just not grow up, and like
just keep them young.
Yeah, and like Facebook and Google really screwed it up for me because like they always send you reminders when they were like young and like
yeah, and they play that sappy music. They make a little video for it. You're like
yeah. But, no, I mean they're getting like older and like they're like more into like their friends now. Mm-hmm. So I mean Lily's she doesn't have a lot of like. So, like, Sophie has, like, she could chat with some friends. I mean,
right.
We allowed that.
Right.
Right. Not, like, it's like the G-chat kind of thing.
Yeah.
Email chat, but not, like, social media chat.
Only with people you guys know.
Yeah. But Lily, she doesn't have that. I mean, she has, like, a text with my family members, so she could text them, but they're, like, working and stuff. But, but when they were younger, they didn't have that, and they would just, like, always run to our rooms in the morning, and just kind of do our day. And what's great is... I mean, we both work from home, so we have like almost every meal together.
That's so awesome.
I love it.
That's such a blessing.
Yeah, and like my brother and my sister, they're in the Bay Area. They like work full-time jobs, and like, I feel like COVID was like God's mini flood, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it maybe didn't all pan out the way like the first time. Like my sister, she I feel sad because she they work a lot, and they see their kids for like an hour in the morning, then an hour at night, and they have the weekends.
Yeah, see, that's hard.
It's like,
but that's most people.
Yeah. Yeah, and,
yeah.
And I mean they don't have that much. My brother-in-law, he used to work in San Francisco, so he'd have to take the drive to the train and then take the train, and it's like a good. Maybe 2 hours, My brother does it too, but like after COVID, during COVID, they all had to stay at home. And then they actually remodeled their home and they had to stay in an apartment, which was much smaller.
Okay.
But instead of like, it was hard for them because they're not used to it, and like they were used to the separation,
Right.
But I mean, nothing changed for us. And, like, we loved it because we didn't love it, but nothing changed for us. But like our lifestyle, you know, just to see them every day, watch them grow, it's awesome. You know?
It's the way it should be, right? You look back in the past, that's the way it always was. You know.
For them, it was difficult because they were just trying to work, and then like their kids were trying to. They were homeschooled. They were like you know distance learning, and that was hard because they were all on screens at home. So it was kind of like not the same like effect for them.
Right.
But they make more money and they have like great retirement. I don't have a great retirement, you know, but like I'm enjoying this like time now, you know, which I love.
You got a great retirement. Jesus is going to come back before you need to retire anyway, and then you'll be good to go.
So long as he's giving me some like being okay with it. Marriages. So.
Yeah, he's gonna come and just kick you out.
I hope he's left out of the slide. But,
oh man,
I love her. I'm really fortunate about life, and like I'm kind of like it's kind of making me sad that they're growing up so fast.
Oh, it's brutal. Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah,
especially I think with dads and daughters, it's like there's a certain kind of relationship there that it's just different.
So at every wedding, you know, like it's. I mean, I love it. Like, it's. I mean, it's fun. Like, but there are some routine things, you know, which is really routine is when officiant always has the Corinthians verse.
Oh yeah, like 1 Corinthians 13. Yeah.
I know. It is.
Yeah.
It's very patient, right? Yeah. got it. Keep going. I mean, and then I mean, some vows are really great, but there's some things that are kind of redundant. But I mean, a lot of things, you know, just I mean, reactions are great. You know, like just the chemistry between like the couple is great. But what really gets me is the father-daughter dance. Yeah. Or like a father and daughter like reveal. And just.
Because you know someday you're going to be there. Yeah.
And it just the dad's just like. I know, like, I always see myself, like, I'm gonna be a wreck, you know? Like, when I do that, like, I do it. I just hope my daughter's, like, I want to give a lot of insight on what they do because, like, I've seen, probably like over 1,000 weddings, you know? Right. But I know they'll have their say and want to do what they want to do.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I always thought I would have been a just total mess for it, but I wasn't. I mean, it was emotional, but I mean, I wasn't like sobbing or anything, but I mean, walking her down the aisle was, you know, it was an experience. Like, you're like, wow, I'm here. I mean, you're remembering bringing her home from the hospital. Yeah. You know, you're remembering the first time you're a dad. It's like, oh my gosh, like we were so young and we had this little baby and here I am, I'm walking her down the aisle. I'm putting her hand in another man's hand and saying, here you go, you know, like you go live your own life now, you know, and it's just crazy how time flies, you know, you blink a couple times and before you know it, you know, there you are, you know?
Yeah, that's hard because, you know, like, my girls would ask me, like, ask me about my mom, you know, like, I just feel guilty because I don't talk to her every day, you know, I probably call her probably once every couple of weeks, which is,
she's up in the Bay Area?
Yeah.
Okay.
And honestly, I call her when I need something too. And it's just kind of, it's kind of sad. And like, I mean, like I'm like, we're dreading the day when they move out, but then like, I'm gonna be sad. Like if we don't, I mean, it's gonna be hard just not be able, I mean, the first like 5-year transition, you know, when they're like on their own. Right. Then like when we get used to our lifestyle of being retired or whatever, being old and just kind of not having a quieter house and stuff, you know. And complacent with that, and I don't know. It's gonna be different because I'm growing up. I'm used to seeing my mom every day, you know, and seeing my brother and my sister. But now I just don't. Like my brother, like he made this like point to my sister that we're all in our 40s now, and like, they see us probably like twice a year maybe, and like. I'm realistic. He said to my sister, which made me really sad, was I'm probably gonna see my brother probably like I don't know, maybe like 50 or like twice a year, so maybe like 80 more times the rest of my life. You know? Like that's
when you put it in that perspective.
But like I'll see my girls like 365 days. Right. Sometimes like this year, but like to see my brother who I saw every day, he'll probably only see me 80 more days for the rest of my life. Like, that's depressing. Well, that's not probably more than that, but like still, you know, just to see, like we'll see each other probably less than a year worth for the rest of our life. It's just like, that's depressing.
Right.
So.
Right. Until you get to that next transition, right, where they are out and they're married, and you don't necessarily want it to become like that, like the relationship you have with your mom, where you call her every once in a while. You're thinking to yourself, oh, these are my daughters. I want to talk to them all the time.
Yeah.
But what's that going to look like? We just don't know. You know, are they going to move to New York and they're going to be far away, or who knows? You know, they're going to marry some guy who's from who knows where, Russia, and they're going to go over there and live in, you know, who knows, right? Like
we want them to like choose, you know, what lifestyle they want, and I think they are more. I think I don't know. It's hard to say now because they're young, but I kind of feel like they want that domesticated like lifestyle like that we have, and I think they want to stay close.
Right.
I mean, that'll probably change later on, but like
it depends on what boy they meet, right? You know, that's what throws a wrench in the whole thing. Sometimes in a good way. I mean, it's all the Lord's, you know, the way He's leading and guiding, and we're supposed to release them someday, right? So I mean, but it doesn't make it any easier.
I think, you know, like I mean, for me, like I'm the furthest. My brother and my sister, they live close to my mom, and like I was kind of like I left home. I was the one that left home, and like I wanted to like go explore, and like I lived the furthest away, and like I like started this whole life, you know, and kind of left the family and everything, and not in a bad way, but I just kind of like, you know, I was the first to get married, first to like, you know, live with someone, and first to have kids and everything, you know,
right.
And I think probably one of my kids will have that trait to be more adventurous and to see what's out there.
Right.
I mean, we want the best for our kids, but also kind of want them close by. So,
right.
And we want, I mean, like
you want your cake and you want to eat it.
Yeah. My wife has this like, she always kind of like probably every so often she would say like, you guys just, you know, live close to each other, find husbands that will like, you know, like want you guys to be close and like want to like live that lifestyle, and you know, and hopefully they'll marry like a teacher or something, or be a teacher, and just like, you know, be close and like
a little bit of bias there,
yeah. And we were thinking about buying this house like 2 doors down too, and like just renting it out, and like I was like thinking like that could be theirs.
yeah. Well, that's why I ever watched. I don't know if you ever watched Duck Dynasty, or if you know anything about those guys, but all their houses are like on the same, like next to each other. Like it's kind of cool, you know. And all their kids just grow up together, and because me and my cousin up in Washington, we've talked about for years how cool it'd be. I mean, of course, our kids are all getting way older now, but back in the early days, we were like, oh, it'd be fun just to buy a bunch of land and just put like 3 or 4 houses on it, and have each family live in one of those houses, and all the kids just run around and play with each other for, you know, their whole growing up time, you know. And but now it's like, here we are, and you know, Addie's 15, and you know, his oldest is 15, you know, or 14, 15, somewhere around there, and it's just like time's running out. We're not having it anymore. So
one of my favorite shows is Parenthood.
Okay, I've been told to watch that, and I haven't
watched that twice.
Okay, and even the movie, I've never seen the movie.
Oh, that's different.
Okay.
Well, I mean, it kind of like the same feeling too. What I love about it, I mean, it's just there's just so much chaos, you know, and there's so much disagreements, you know. Like in the end, they all come together, and they have this like dinner table, you know,
right,
where they sit together, and that just, I mean, I love that. Like I go visit my sister and my brother's there, and like we just, I mean, we're just silly. We're together and we're sitting there. And my mom, she's just quiet. She's always quiet. She's always quiet, and we're like, me and my brother and sister, we're just kind of talking about like what's going on, and and like the last time I was there, it was in March, I think, or no, last month we were all there, and what we end up doing is we do a puzzle. And we just sit there.
Like a jigsaw puzzle?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like a 1,000-piece puzzle.
Just together?
Yeah.
Nice.
And then we talk and just hang out and stuff.
That's awesome.
And I think it started like a couple like Thanksgivings ago.
Okay. Oh, it's kind of a new thing then.
Yeah.
Okay, it wasn't like you guys were doing that with your kids.
No.
Okay.
No. And like my wife hates it because she just wants to move on to something else. But like that's more like, you know, like we could all like do like we're just, but like we all like all the rest of us we're just like really into it, you know. But we talk. It's not so much like doing it's fun, you know.
Right.
It's backbreaking sitting like that, but just being together and then like and then we started singing karaoke at the same time.
Oh,
you know?
nice.
And we were just like, we were all sober too, which is funny.
Yeah. That's the best kind when you're high on life, you know. It's just, that's the best kind.
And my mom just told my wife, she said, I love this right now, just watching them, you know. And like my mom would tell my Christine different times that she loved. Like one time when my kids were a lot younger, just me, my brother, and my sister would just. Like I think me and my sister, we had kids already, but they were really young. But we were just at my house carving pumpkins.
Nice.
And she would just watch us and she would just smile.
Your mom?
Yeah.
Yeah. She's proud of you guys.
Yeah. So it's just, I mean, we're all like married and all happy and we have good jobs and stuff. But she's not so much happy about that. But she's just happy that we were like all together and stuff.
Yeah, she sees you still have a bond with your siblings, even though you live far away. You get together every couple times a year and it's you guys are still close. So that's awesome. You know, I think we all hope that for our kids, and especially like, you know, we always try to remind Addie and Asher right now because they're at each other's throats 24/7 and you know, it's like Aiden and Laura, our older two, are the same way, but they're pretty close now. I mean, they talk, like as I said, she lives down in LA, he lives here, but they'll talk and they'll, you know, when he was living in that area, he'd go visit, she'd go visit him, and Bethany and I love that. We think that's awesome. We're like, that's so different than what we saw when you guys were 16 and 14 or 14 and 12 or whatever, you know, and just constantly ragging on each other and yelling at each other and all this. It's like,
that's
you
how
know,
it was back then.
Right. See, but when you become adults and you mature and then your siblings are like some of your best friends on the planet, you know, you change, you know, we all go through those stages of life where, especially for girls and boys, they're so different, and, you know, trying to grow up in the same household, you know, it's I mean, anybody who's married knows, right? As a guy's trying to understand his wife and the wife's trying to understand the husband, it's like, we're just way different people, the way we think, the way we view the world, the way we, you know, so you got a brother and sister trying to grow up and go through the puberty years and the hormones and all that stuff. It's like, it's just a disaster, you know. Your kids get along pretty good at this age? Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
On and off.
Yeah.
For the most part.
They see, I mean, like I said, I don't think I've ever really talked to them, but I know they were, I want to say they were part of it. Was it maybe Girl Scouts? Or?
Yeah, American Heritage Girls. Yeah.
Okay, yes, that's the one. Yeah, where Addie was a part of that for a while. And your girls seemed just really happy and kind of down to earth, chill, you know. Kind of like you, just kind of like, you know, just kicking back and, you know.
Yeah, they're a lot more shy. I mean, they're a lot more shy than I was. I was more outgoing.
Yeah.
But they're slowly coming out of their shell.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you this a while ago, are you the oldest of your siblings? Youngest?
Middle.
You're the middle, okay. So you got an older sister and a younger brother? Other way around?
Yeah.
Okay, so the sister's the youngest, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Middle child syndrome? Yeah? You ever feel like you had that?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
All the criteria. So is my daughter. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
And so is my wife and her brother.
Oh, really? She's middle child too?
She's the oldest.
Oh, she's the oldest.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think you could marry like middle child should marry each other.
No, that'd be a disaster, right? Yeah. Well, I'm an only child, so for me, it's like. But I have cousins that I grew up with, all in the same area, really close with, and I have two male cousins that are, one's 3 years older than me, one's 5 years younger than me. But we were kind of like, you know, we grew up together, so I kind of felt like I kind of had a middle child syndrome, even though I don't have any siblings. But we're all still pretty cool today. So,
so just to kind of one more thing to add to, it's like I think my wife and I are very different. Like I like to go on things like blind.
Yeah.
I don't prepare.
Right.
It's funny because like I host a lot of events like in the wedding community too. Like I host this like really big event. It's called the Wedding Games. It's like
wow, it's like the Hunger Games but with wedding people.
Yeah. It's but I don't.
Last one alive.
No, they're all in teams and stuff. It's a lot of fun. I've done it for like 6 years in a row and it's great.
Okay.
But like, and she plans big events for school. I mean, she's a director for school. So she plans a lot, but we do it completely different. Like I just kind of like wing it. I'll a month before.
And that probably drives her nuts.
It does.
She's like, how do you do that?
Yeah, and it doesn't like whatever. Does this work?
Yeah.
If it doesn't work out, then like we'll figure it out.
Right.
And a lot. I mean, it was ongoing learning process. A lot of things like went wrong that we didn't foresee, and we just fixed them the next year.
Right.
But she's a perfectionist and she's stressed out, and that's what both my kids are too. My oldest one, she stresses so much. My other one, she kind of just like goes into it blind, jumps in like the deep end.
So you got one of each. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I think like Christine and I balance each other out in that way. Like I don't stress over things, and and I just like this. I mean, see what happens.
Yeah, well, see, there's a benefit. Like I was going to say at the beginning when you said that you hadn't listened to any of the previous episodes. I never tell people they should or they shouldn't necessarily, but I think there's a benefit on each side. Like you said, you come in fresh. You're not going to be piggybacking off of anything. You have no idea what I'm going to say to you. You have no idea what we're going to talk about. It just kind of flows. But then by the same token, people that do listen, people that aren't like you, that need more structure and more planning and more kind of thing, they're like, well, I want to know what's it going to be like? What's going to happen, you know?
Everyone that's going to listen to me is probably like an oldest child.
Yeah. Yeah. So, they'll be like, yep. So,
But no, I just kind of I just jump in the deep end a lot, so.
Yeah.
It's worked out.
Yeah, that's so whatever floats your boat, man. Whatever goes for you we're all different.
A lot, but I'm going back up, so.
Yeah. Stronger than you were when you fell down, right?
Well, I'm older now, so I'm not as strong as I used to be. So.
You fall down now, it's a hospital trip for sure.
It's like a minute to get back up. So.
That's what we say. We've done a couple roller skating parties as adults, and we're like, oh my gosh, I don't even want to fall down here. You can't fall anymore. You're too old. Yeah. You know, we're all too old to fall.
Now you know.
Yeah.
we're not the same. We're not as young as we used to be. So.
But it sucks. That's a hard thing to come to because you're not used to it. It's like, man, when I was younger, I'd do this and this and this. It's like, but you're not anymore. Yeah. Like you gotta.
No, I've come to accept it. Like this year, not before that. I was like, nah, I'll be okay.
Yeah.
But now this year, I'm like, no, I can't do it. I know I can't do it. Now,
So. All right. Well, we touched on the other two topics. I know. Yeah. Pretty thoroughly. So I just wanted to. So we touched on it a little bit earlier with when we were talking about some of your spiritual beliefs and that kind of thing. So I just wanted to kind of start at the beginning of that and go down that road. Yeah. And so did you grow up in the church? Did you get saved later in life? So walk me through that.
So I was actually talking to one of the pastors at church. I had lunch with him, and I was kind of talking to him about my spiritual journey, and I think I've always, the way I kind of described it, I asked for a little bit of help. That's the reason I had that luncheon, and I feel like my spiritual journey has been like a backseat.
Okay.
For my whole life.
Okay.
I grew up Catholic, and I actually didn't going to church every Sunday was very routine, and I didn't take anything in. I just knew what was going to happen next, but I don't know why. Because every priest that I had I don't think I can't recall an American priest I've ever had in church.
Was it Irish?
No.
Oh, okay.
Maybe. Oh, you know what? Maybe. I think we had one Irish, not Irish, but not. Just every priest I've had a thick accent.
Right.
So I didn't know.
Which makes it easy to understand, right?
Yeah. So I didn't know what they were saying, but I knew when they were saying it and what they were saying. So I didn't know what it meant.
Right.
And I would say, pray the rosary, say the Hail Marys, but I never knew what it meant. Pray before meals.
Right.
I never knew what it meant.
Your parents pretty strong in the Catholic faith.
Yeah.
Like very serious.
Very strong. Okay. And it's like, it was very like legalistic, and we were, they like, it's just kind of funny. We'd have to do things. We'd have to go to confession. We'd have to pray the rosary at certain times, and like, she would be happy if one of us went into the ministry, because it would automatically guarantee their
Oh, really? Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah. Like, you mean that was your parents' kind of viewpoint? Like, if one of their kids got into ministry, that would
beat her chicken in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I've never heard that before.
Yeah.
Huh.
You know, you wouldn't say that. Oh, his son's a priest, so they're automatically going to heaven. You know? So, but like, I don't think she. I don't know if they knew. I was raised by a single parent too. My mom.
Oh, okay.
So, but that's how my aunt and uncle were too, and we'd just go to, and they would do a lot of, acts of services, feed the poor, and
right.
Do a lot of ministry and stuff. But and then I would always hear them like, let's go to our aunt's house and pray the rosary. Like someone's, I forgot why, but we prayed the rosary sometimes. But like, I kind of dread it, and like it was more of like a countdown. Oh, we're on the 5th strand. Okay, we got 10 more to go.
Right.
So there was no relationship.
Okay. Okay. And that's from early. That's the first things you can remember are growing up in that way. Okay.
There was no relationship with God. It was more of a relationship with a priest.
Right. Right.
And then I went to college. Probably went to church like twice.
During college?
Yeah.
I mean, okay.
And that was just with friends.
Catholic church or?
Yeah.
Okay.
In the mission.
Okay.
I went to Poly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I went to church. I mean, a couple of friends wanted to go. I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
And then met Christine, and she was raised Catholic too. Her parents were the same way too. And her brother, she had a rough upbringing too. Her dad had a gambling addiction. Her mom was very codependent.
Okay.
And in denial of everything for a long time. But her brother, there was a whole thing when I met Christine. Like, her dad was like in the picture. He's not in the picture now. But they were just she was trying to separate and stuff. It was really difficult, and it was rough. Like in the beginning of our relationship.
Yeah. How old were you guys when you met?
We actually met in high school.
Oh wow. Okay.
Well, we went to different high schools.
Okay.
But we met. My brother.
But you knew each other.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we were both with other people, and we have our own versions of our stories. Mine's more entertaining, but
it's probably not as true.
I don't care. It's more entertaining. So you want to hear mine. But we were both with other people, and then we reconnected after college through AOL Instant Messenger.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Nice.
So if none of the listeners know what that is, then
they're young.
They just aged.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys were like in your early 20s then, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, about like 25-ish. Yeah.
Okay. And was she kind of like you, where she had grown up Catholic, but she wasn't really practicing when you had met her, like at all, or?
I don't think she practiced in college. I think we were the same when we would see our families would go.
Okay.
Her brother, I think he's the reason we went into a Christian church. He's very passionate once he kind of jumps around too, and he went into several businesses, and a lot of failed, but like he was very successful in this last one. But when he gets into something, he kind of pours his whole heart into it, and then I think he met some friends, he got saved, and like and he brought us in, or he got Christine to go to his church, and then we found a church. We were living in Bakersfield.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah. We had a really big house. It was really nice.
With AC, I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah. 2 AC units. So he brought us in the church, and like it took me a while to buy in. It took me a really long time, because first church we went to, it was intense. They had like big screens. They had camera crew,
And like it was in tents. or it was like intense? Like, was it like a big circus tent, or was it like... Sorry, I couldn't resist that one. Okay. Anyway, so they had big screen TVs. It's like a big, like a mega church kind of thing, or?
No. I thought it was a mega church until I saw a mega church.
Okay.
There's a lot of churches. When I went to a mega church, they had like, you know what a crane is for a camera?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they had cranes like what?
Like a TV show or something.
Yeah, I was not paying attention to the sermon at all because I was like watching all the cameras, you know, as a photographer.
Wow.
But so it took me a long time to buy it. So they had screens, and then everyone was getting emotional, and like I felt like really out of place. And then we met this one person. This church was like down the street from our house too.
Okay.
Like we went there, and then we met some people, and then we went to like this barbecue thing, and it was crazy. Also like the media too. When we came in, they had these color like brochures, you know, for every Sunday. It was nice, you know. Like I've never made something that nice, you know, for advertising. So like, and then like they were talking about tithing, and like this church was kind of I was really skeptical because they confronted people that weren't tithing enough.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I'm like,
wow.
So we left that for that church, but there were some people that were just really intense, and we went to like a little like barbecue, and they had like so much food that was individually packaged in styrofoam, and it's a chicken, beef, you know. I'm like, where's our money going to, you know?
Right,
I was like really like distracted, you know.
Yeah.
And then we went to probably like 4 other churches there, and we stayed for a while. There's this one, it was like I guess they told me it was more of a recovery church.
Okay.
Everyone was crying all the time, you know, and like I haven't really gone through. I mean, Christine got emotional too because it kind of touched back on her childhood and growing up too. But like I've never really had any trials in my life. You know, I mean, I had a single. My mom raised me. She was a single parent, but I never really met my dad, so I didn't know what it was like to lose a father. You know, I didn't know any difference.
Right.
I mean, we were poor growing up, but like my mom did a good job of like having fun with us and spending time with us. So I didn't really think we were poor. You know.
Right.
But I didn't really have any trials in my life. So I was just kind of watching people. I was distracted. By like media, the stuff they had, you know, and then people getting super emotional until we found one church that was, they had no intention of having a building. They, their ministry was, they used the auditorium of a high school.
Okay.
And they had no intention of getting a building. Their ministry was high school, so they would do cleanups of the high school. They would try to invite the kids to, you know, from the high school and stuff, and all the money went back, you know. They didn't, they were very minimal. They didn't have like big screens. They just had projectors that had messages and stuff, but they didn't have, that was the first church that I didn't feel distracted.
Right. It was much different than the one you just came from.
Yeah. And then Christine got us into like we went to a couple Bible studies, you know.
Like more intimate, like
and
3
some
or 4
church groups.
couples.
And it was cool. I got to meet other people, made friends with people, but the fellowship was great. But when we started like studying, and I got really, I kind of shut down, and I shut down a lot with other people that are very I guess strong, and they're very knowledgeable. You know, they talk about the study, and they just kind of they bring a lot of emotion to it, and they kind of shut down. Okay. So, and it kind of applies to everything that I do too. Like when there's people that are very alpha or very dominant, like speaking and leading the group, I'll shut down, just like listen, you know, like. So
is that like do you see that as like a bad thing, as in a sense, or do you just see yourself as trying to learn from that person, or is it like a person? It's like a personality.
It's a personality thing. I don't. Okay. I'm just like, when someone's very outspoken. I'm not competitive by any means at all.
Right.
So when someone wants to be like competitive with me, I'll just like, go ahead.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
Or when someone's very opinionated about something, I'm not going to defend myself.
Right. Right.
Go for it, man. So
okay.
It's just hard for me to be. to have conversations with people that are very like outspoken and very like strong-willed, you know, and like
yeah, here you are sitting across from me. I'm pretty outspoken and strong-willed.
Yeah. I think we're almost done here.
You're like, I'm out.
No, like I had one. The first church I went to, some guy, one of the, not youth pastors, maybe the younger pastors, or he took me out to coffee, and like he just like started talking to me, and he started like taking out his Bible and like giving me scriptures, and he just like went off, and I was just trying to keep up. And I was, you know, I meet some people like this, and it's hard for me to, I just nod my head, you know, it's hard for me. And I've met, we've been to churches like that have these kind of pastors that, I mean, not to knock on them, but like, it's just hard for me to follow when they just kind of go off in like different, they just jump around in different passages and try to make their point, you know?
Like a topical study as opposed to a verse by verse? Or is it just, are you talking about like just too in depth?
Not too in depth about one thing. They just kind of just jump around in different verses, and then like this. And also, I see it in a lot of weddings that I go to. To a lot of officiants, they just say like, in Matthew they talk about marriage this, and then God tells you to do this, and then we go to like Ephesians, and then they talk about this, you know. And so as a husband, you have to be like this, and then Peter talks about this, and I'm like, whoa, dude, there's no. See, for me, like, I just shut down. But there's no like continuity with something like at church, like when like Pastor Connor just like talks about his childhood or you know, his early marriage, you know, he just kind of starts with a story, and then like, you know, he brings that point in the story and then goes into the site like, oh, I can follow, you know. But
you like that better because it's not straight.
I can relate, you know. There's like one message. There's not like a whole bunch of different verses that you're trying to kind of come across. So it's just sometimes I meet a lot of Christians that are like that, and it's just I'm like, I lost you a long time ago. I'm kind of daydreaming now. I'm like, I'm paying attention. So Christina's brought me like to a lot of groups. You know, we went to a lot of couple studies, and then she had me sign up for CBS, Community Bible Study. It goes every Wednesday, and it was like the men would like separate and do a study, and then women would study, and like this is like a Wednesday morning.
Yeah. Is it still Bakersfield?
No. This is here.
This is here now. Okay.
This actually the men's they actually they stopped. They disbanded because I don't think enough people went. But on Wednesday morning, the only guys that are there are in their 70s or 80s.
Oh wow!
So I was like,
you feeling a little young.
Yeah, and they were very, they were very knowledgeable. So again, we talk about stuff.
Right. And, so what about like for your so I understand like when you're talking to another person, and they can kind of overwhelm you with information, and you, like you said, you feel lost and you just kind of shut down. So do you ever like do your own personal studies or reading time? And when you do, how do you approach that?
All right, so I'm going to tell you something. All right. Christine makes fun of you. I've never read a full book in my life.
Okay. You're not really a reader.
No.
Not much of an intellectual kind of guy.
No. I can tell you about like some movies I've seen.
Okay. My cousin's the same way. He'll tell you to this day he's never read a full book.
Yeah, I just can't. It's hard. I mean, I've tried to like, I start reading a chapter and then my mind kind of wanders off.
Okay.
So yeah, it's hard for me to like kind of self-motivated to study on my own.
Right.
And so actually like I had this meeting with a pastor, and like I had to like Christine's been trying with me a lot, and we have like these family devotionals too, which is kind of helpful too.
Yeah.
And like it's just been really hard for me to like to study on my own and like to learn on my own, and but I feel like I have my own relationship with God.
Sure.
And it's just kind of like a one-on-one thing, but it's just hard for me to be in groups with people, you know?
Right.
It's hard for me to be I feel like I'm not at their level, you know?
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to relate. So if we talk about other stuff, I could talk to them, you know?
Right.
But when they start talking about studies, I'm like, I'll just like, oh yeah, I'll just nod my head the whole time.
Right.
You know? But
when you talk about your personal relationship with the Lord, you're talking about like you pray often, you talk with Him, you meet with Him.
Yeah.
So when in your life did that start taking shape? Was that happening back when you were in the Catholic Church, or did that not happen until after?
I mean, I think when I was in the Catholic Church, I more prayed when I wanted something.
Okay.
You know, but now I'm just kind of, I'm like, it's more when I'm alone, you know, especially when I'm driving too. I just kind of like, you know, I kind of have like these conversations with Him, like alone, you know.
Right.
But it's just hard for me to have, to share that with other people, you know, and so like I've been on a lot of different groups, a lot of different sites, but it's just like I just shut down. It's hard for me to like to follow.
Even in like the home groups that you were doing?
Yeah, I mean, the fellowship's great. We talk about stuff, you know, we talk about, you know, what's going on, and I learn about other people, but when you get into study, I just kind of, I just get lost.
Okay.
Yeah. But what's funny is I volunteered to be like one of the leaders for Alana, and when my kids were younger, you know, I'd read them the kids' Bible. I'm like, this is making sense. So it's like,
there you go.
So like I just kind of learned better with my kids and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, but now they're in youth groups and like they're like kind of like at a higher level. I'm like, okay, well, you lost me there.
Yeah.
So,
you guys are higher than me now.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just I guess it's like I want to be, you know, like I want to be able to talk to people about it, but it's just I don't know, it's hard for me. And so I this luncheon I had too, I just I told them that I feel guilty because like I want to learn, you know, I want to be more, I guess I want to be more like other Christians, you know. I want to be able to, I mean, I never pray in front of people because I mean I just feel like when we pray in a group, like they're just more they use a lot of big words,
right?
You know, for me when I pray, I'm like, hey God, it's me, Patrick, you know.
But see here, let me tell you something though. So when I'm in a prayer group, I struggle with this myself because when I hear those people with the big words and the big extravagant prayer, that turns me down. That like shuts me off in the sense that I think to myself, is this genuine? Like, are you really praying to the Lord right now, or are you just putting on a show for the rest of us in the room? So if there's somebody like you who's like real just meek and mild, just very simple, I'm probably going to hear that and get more out of that than I am the big extravagant prayer. You know what I mean? So. But that's just me. That's my untrusting nature, I guess.
No, I'm exactly the same way. Like, you know, when they pray and they say, like, you know, you died on the cross and then this, and I'm like, yeah, we know that already.
Right,
like,
exactly. It's like, who are you saying this to, right? Like, who is this for, right? It's like, we get it. Like, you know, or even in a sermon when the pastor will be praying at the end, and you're listening and you're going, is he praying to us or is he praying to God? Like it almost becomes like this secondary sermon that's coming after the fact. And you know, that's just me. I get skeptical and I struggle with that all the time in whatever church I'm in. I'm always that guy, you know, but
I'm more like straightforward in my like relationship. I don't want to say something very sexist right now, but
go ahead, man.
I like my wife always tells me her conversations about like other like her friends and stuff, and I'm like, and she just, I mean, when she meets with other friends, like she say, oh, I'll be home at like 8. I'm like, okay, it's like 10 o'clock.
Right.
And I'm like, what are you guys talking about? You know, like, I mean, this is probably right here is probably the longest conversation I've ever had with another male, you know.
Oh, nice. I'm honored.
But like, you know, it's like when they want to get something across, they have to like, you know, they just kind of beat around the bush, and it's just a very long-winded conversation, and that's how I feel like sometimes prayer is. But for me, like, I'm just very straightforward. I'm like, you know, if I need something, I'll say, hey, small talk. Hey, can I borrow your?
Well, but for seriously, I mean, that's awesome, because that's, to me, that's the way it should be. I don't think the Lord wants all that phony baloney stuff. You know what I mean? He's probably sitting up there going, what? Why are you going on? You could have got this done in 30 seconds. What are you doing with this 5 minute
I died in the cross. I was there.
Right.
You know,
Exactly,
it hurt. You know?
That's what I mean. And and I mean, I struggle with all that stuff too. And my wife gets on me sometimes because I know I can be overcritical and harsh. But things distract me. And like when I hear people praying and they have to say Lord after every other word. That drives me crazy. I'm like, what are you doing? Like what? Like, I guess I guess what I'm saying is I never want to step on anybody's relationship with the Lord. If that's just the way you, fine, that's great. But from an objective standpoint, from where I'm coming from, as I'm listening to it, I can't help but think, like, what are you doing? Like, and Father, Lord, Lord, Father, Father, Lord, we just pray, Father, Lord, that you, Lord, Father, Father, that you would, Father, please help, Father, Father. It's like, I can't even make out what your prayer is, because I'm only hearing the words Father and Lord 20 million times. You know what I mean? It's like, and I'm always curious, like, why do people do that? I don't get it. But I've heard multiple people that pray that way, you know?
Yeah, and that's, I mean, that's fine if that's your relationship and stuff. But
right.
I mean, I think I'm more comfortable just praying on my own.
Yeah.
And having that relationship.
Right.
I don't need people to hear me.
Yeah.
I just need one person to hear me.
That's right. Exactly. Yeah, I'm with you there, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like to pray in front of people either, generally.
Yeah, I don't want to, like, the leader asked me, you want to pray for me? No.
Yeah, pick somebody else.
Yeah. It's like, I get it. Okay.
Are you still doing that? The Oneus?
No. So my girls got. I wanted them to be on it, but then, like, after COVID, when that happened, they kind of got into youth group, and they were doing well, they stopped doing CBS, but we do like a morning devotional, and they just got more into stuff. And I was hoping they'd finish it, because, like, I do like when they start something, they finish it. You know?
Right.
Even if it's not like, I don't know.
That's like a lifelong thing, though. You start in kindergarten or preschool, and then you go through high school with that one.
Yeah, I always like to. I don't know. I have this, like, thing where I need to finish something I start. You know,
right?
Like when I binge series, I know, oh, this sucks, but I'm like, I need to finish it.
Yes.
So it gets better. Then at the very end,
even though you know it won't.
And at the end, like, what? I just wasted like 20 hours of my life in the past 5 days. You know?
Right. Yeah. Do you have an example of that? Do you have a TV show you can tell me?
Lost.
Oh, okay. Okay, let's talk Lost for a second there. Okay, so spoilers for anybody that hasn't seen the show. You've seen the whole thing? No?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think I erased it from my
okay.
Like the ending.
So I will tell you that I know of one other person that I've ever talked to that actually liked the ending of Lost besides myself.
I forgot the ending because I think I just shut it out of my memory.
But I know a lot of people didn't get the ending. Like, I can't tell you how many people come up to me and go, it was so dumb that they were all dead the whole time since the plane crash, and they were the whole show was all them being dead. I say, no, you missed it. Like, that's not what happened. That wasn't the deal. Everything that happened on the show really happened. That was all real time. But then when they all meet at this heavenly place at the end, they had just decided that they were, or whatever, however, of course this isn't biblical in any way, shape, or form, but, you know, they all decided this is going to be the place where we're all going to meet whenever we die. So somebody may have died 10 years before another person, but they all meet there, right? That's just where they meet up, you know. And there was one guy came up to me, Christian guy, and he goes, "Man, I was so upset at the ending. It was so non-biblical. It was so non-biblical." I was like, well, dude, like, nobody ever claimed it was a Christian show. I said, are you really telling me that you're watching the show from season one? You're thinking, oh, this is just a very biblical show. And now all of a sudden at the end, now it's not? I was like, dude, it was never a biblical show. I'm not watching it because I want a Bible study. I'm watching it because it's entertaining, you know?
So you liked it, you liked the whole...
I did. I mean, obviously there were certain storylines and certain parts that I was like, nah, this is kind of dumb. They kind of went a weird way here. And I feel like they strayed away from a lot of the things. Like, they would make you think that you were going to get an answer to something. And they wouldn't give it to you till like 2 seasons down the road or whatever. That was annoying. But overall, as a show, I think it's great. I watched it through with Bethany when it was on TV. Then I rewatched it through with my older 2 kids on the DVD when they were old enough, and then loved it then too. And then my older son, he to this day, he hates the ending. He hated everything. He's oh, this dumb show, blah blah, whatever. But and then I plan to eventually when my older 2 are old enough to watch through it with him again, just because I think it's great. I think it's fantastic. I mean, I love that kind of show where it's kind of that.
I love the first season. A lot.
Yeah. And they definitely went some weird places. I mean, for sure. When they started bringing the Dharma Initiative in there, and then you get in the past, and it's like, okay, how did this all fit together? And for me, whenever you're dealing anything with time travel, that's where you lose me completely. I mean, you just completely lose me. I don't understand any of it, because it's like, well, if this changed in the past, wouldn't the whole entire future be different, and the present would be totally different too? But they never address that. You know, it's like you wouldn't even be the same person you were to go back in time
Yeah.
Because whatever you changed in the past would have changed your present, right? So it's like,
do you watch any Marvel stuff?
Oh yeah, we're caught up through. I think Doctor Strange, the newest one, is the last one we saw. So we haven't seen Thor: Love and Thunder. We haven't seen Wakanda Forever yet, or Ant-Man. We haven't seen any of those, but we've seen most of the TV shows.
Yeah. So the whole like the multiverse stuff, right?
Yeah.
You saw the last Spider-Man, right?
yes.
The girls were watching it just like the other day, and the very end, like when he makes everyone forget him again, and then he has like MJ and his other friend, Ned, or I forgot his name.
Oh, Ned, yeah.
Yeah, so you're not remembering, and then he takes off. I'm like, why doesn't he just stay there and just say, hey, you just lost your memory.
Right.
I'm Spider-Man. I just saved your life, you know?
Right.
Or why don't you record a video,
right,
you know, and make them...
yeah. Well, because then you wouldn't have a sequel. See? You can't answer all the questions in the same... You know, you got to keep it going. So people say, how long are they keep making these movies? And I say, as long as they keep making money doing it.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's what it's all about.
And then the whole time travel, like they mentioned too, like, why don't we go back in time and like just kill like baby Thanos?
Right.
And they're like, they admitted that too. And they're like, this time travel doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
I think they just like said that because it's obvious that they could have done that, but they didn't have a reason. So afterwards they said, well, time travel doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
Why not?
Well, they use time travel when it benefits them and their storyline, and then if it doesn't,
and you can make more money.
Yeah, they're like, that time travel doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, how do you even know how time travel works? Because as far as we know, no one's ever actually done it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, in theory, it makes sense, but for someone to actually be able to take themselves out of time and then insert themselves somewhere back in it is like, come on, you know. But anyway, we're big Marvel fans. And,
me too. All that.
But so are you guys all caught up then? Have you seen?
Not the New Guardians.
Okay, so I've heard that one redeems it. My older daughter and her husband said it was fantastic.
Really?
Yeah, but they didn't like Love and Thunder. They didn't like Wakanda. They said Wakanda was okay.
Yeah.
They didn't like the Ant-Man one as much, which really bums me out because the first two Ant-Man movies I thought were fantastic. I loved those ones.
I liked it. It wasn't as good as the first two.
Okay.
You know, I liked it. You know, there's some good humor. And,
right.
You know.
Right.
I love Paul Rudd's great.
He's awesome. I've liked him ever since Clueless. That was my first time I ever saw Paul Rudd, and I loved him as that character. He was so funny to me.
Yeah. My wife loves him since Friends.
Oh, yeah. Mike Hannigan, right?
Yeah.
Crap bag. And Princess Consuela Banana Hammock.
Yeah.
So anyway, big Marvel fans, big, well, at least old Marvel. I have yet to be redeemed from the old ones, but the TV shows I think have been all the TV shows I've liked. I thought WandaVision was good. The Winter Soldier one I thought was good, but very dark, violent. And some of those scenes I was watching with the kids and going, "Dang, this is kind of gory," you know?
Yeah, Doctor Strange kind of got a little demonic.
We'll see. A lot of the new one, right? The Multiverse of Madness one. A lot of people didn't like that one because they said it was overly dark.
Yeah.
I thought it was great. I
love about them is when there's like crossovers or and there's I love that part.
Yeah.
When they bring in other stories and when they brought in the whole like Professor X and like
yes,
and like I think there's just talks about bringing.
There's been talks for years
X-Men.
about bringing X-Men into MCU, which would be awesome because I love the original X-Men movies. Those were great, but they don't ever fit. And I'm like, okay, you got these movie franchise with all these cool characters. I mean, you're talking lots of characters involved in the X-Men. You know, both villain and not. You know, so it's just like, but I like the crossover. I like when they brought all the Shang-Chi part into the I think it was Doctor Strange, right? Those two connected at some point. That movie was great. I'm looking forward to the sequel to that one. They're it's not supposed to be till like 2016 or something. Or not 2016, 2026. We'll go back in time to see it in 2016. But anyway, so I don't know how we got into all that out of spirituality, but hey, that's what's fun about this podcast. Okay, so just to kind of backtrack a little bit. So So you guys moved from Bakersfield. You get here. Now, would you say that did she kind of? You said brother. I don't know if you're talking about your brother or her brother.
Her brother.
So her brother became a Christian.
Yeah.
And then he kind of talked to you guys about it.
Yeah, and
okay.
I take everything he says with a grain of salt too. Like he was into a lot of businesses and started businesses, and like he was very. And like to this day, like it's just hard for me to take it, give him credibility too. Whenever I visit him, they just kind of wait on him for like a couple hours,
Right.
So it was hard for me to buy in from what is just kind of our history, and but he was really emotional into it, and like he'd always like say, I don't like when people say like I feel like it's an excuse when they say like God's told me to do this, or God's led me here, or God's told me to leave this church.
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of an excuse. Did he really?
How do you know he did?
Yeah.
Is my question. Like, what do you mean by that?
He didn't tell me that.
Right.
He actually told me that.
Yeah. He told me you're crazy. No, but like for me, so I'll let you get back to what you're saying.
Yeah.
This is something that I'm passionate about. Is that people to me will always say things like, "All right, Ryan, let me pray about it. Let me pray about it." And in theory, I get it. You want to make sure that you're doing what the Lord wants you to do. You don't want to be outside of His will, all that kind of stuff. My question is always, okay, so you go pray about it. Yeah. Lord, we got this decision. Are we supposed to do this or neither? Right? Please let us know.
Yeah.
And then I've had people come back to me and say, I prayed about it. The Lord doesn't want me to do that. Or the Lord does want me to do that. And my question is, what happened in your prayer time? Like, I want to know. So I understand the part about you praying.
Yeah.
And I understand about the end, how you saying, God wants me to do this, doesn't want me to do that. But what about the middle part? Like, what happened there? Did you hear a voice from heaven? Did your bookshelf fall over? I mean, some kind of sign? Did you, like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Like, how do you really know? Is it just based on feelings? Oh, I just felt at peace about it. That's another thing people always tell me. I just felt at peace about it. What does that mean?
Yeah.
You might feel at peace about it because it's what you want to do. Mm-hmm. Oh, the Lord wants to do what I want to do. Great. I feel at peace about that. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I think what really, okay, this is gonna probably hurt me. I think what really pushes me away from Christianity is other Christians. Mm-hmm. So there's some great people,
Sure.
And I think sometimes what bothers me, I won't say who because I'll get in trouble.
Yeah, but, you don't have to name drop.
When some people say like, "Oh, this is a good person. Let's talk to him. He's Christian." I'm like, so,
right? Right.
So sometimes, sometimes I kind of feel, and this is not true, but like sometimes I feel like when I encounter more people that are hypocritical or like more of like, like they're Christian and and then like you're Christian, you should be good, right. But we're all like sinners, and like right. And then some of my non-Christian friends, I could be like, they're more open-minded sometimes, Mm-hmm. And what kind of bothers me too is like, I like our last conversation, like I'm accepting of people that are like that are homosexual,
Sure.
Like I actually shot a couple like last week or 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
That were same sex, and like I know it's not biblical and stuff, but like right. They're not hurting anyone, and right. That's how they feel. So I'll support them, Right. But I think so. Like I've had people say like, you probably shouldn't put that on your page. I'm like, why not?
Right.
They're not hurting anyone. That's how they feel, and it's just not like they're not imposing it on you.
Right.
They're not telling you to be like gay, but like that's how they feel, and it's not, and they're not. Like I said, two things that if they're not imposing it on you, or if they're not hurting anyone, then I'm fine with it. Mm-hmm. And when people say like you probably should not put that on your page, like I don't care.
Right.
So
because they probably feel like you're imposing it on them by putting it on your page.
Yeah. Yeah. So
yeah,
that bothers me
because they see it as a support, I think is what it is. More like, oh, Patrick's is supporting he claims to be a Christian, yet he's supporting something that the Bible says is sinful. That's probably the way. I understand your perspective.
Yeah.
You're just looking at it like, no, this is just my job, right? Like, it'd be like if I'm working at Taco Bell and a gay couple comes in to order a burrito, I'm not going to sit there and say, I'm a Christian, I can't sell you a burrito.
Yeah.
No, my job is to sell you a burrito. I don't care who you are. I don't care if your beliefs are just far different than mine.
Yeah.
That doesn't matter. Like,
Well, it's
you
like
know?
the same thing as like, you know, you run a business and like there's someone that's like, you know, either they're vaccinated or non-vaccinated, if they're
Right.
like Democratic or Republican, or you know, like if they're you know, if they just have, I mean, something you know, I'm just open-minded towards other people, but I feel like some people are very close-minded about that, and and that's what like bothers me too. So,
and that seems to be the main issue for Christians, right? They seem to put that up on the pedestal as the cardinal sin. Homosexuality is the biggest, biggest.
So are they not allowed to be in church, or are they not? I mean, if they, you know, are they not allowed to have a relationship with God too, just because they do like one thing that's like not, you know, but they I think that couple, or maybe it was another couple, they were having a Christian ceremony too. So they're having like a Christian there too. So did everyone that attended that, you know, are they all like
sinless?
Yeah.
Right.
And then like, is every other Christian that judges other people about stuff, are they, they're fine.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, that brings me back to something you said a minute ago, which we talk about, you know, you say, well, this guy claims to be a Christian. He's supposed to be good. And then you think to yourself, yes, but we're all sinners. We all have our own vices. You know, like these same Christians that are saying, oh, I can't support, or I can't be friends with a homosexual person, or I can't do my job for them, or whatever their case may be, or they're not allowed to come to church, right? You say, well, no, they're not allowed in our church building, yet you're sitting around all these other people who have their own sins. This guy's addicted to porn. This guy's a pathological liar. You know, this lady's cheating on her husband. Like, there's all these different things going on that are known. Like, people know about this, yet they're not shunning them from the churches. But why is it when a gay couple comes in, you have to kick them out the door? So for me, where I draw the line with that, not really, I guess draw the line is the wrong. So you're right to say we all have sin. We all struggle with certain things, even as Christians. I mean, that's part of the Christian walk. Now we have the Holy Spirit in us, and He's convicting us of our sins that maybe we weren't convicted of before. To me, it's the people that would say, and I don't care what the sin is, if their attitude is, yeah, I do this all the time, but, you know, God's fine with it. I got a good relationship with Him. We're totally cool. I mean, this is my personal relationship with the Lord. And, you know, I pray about it, and God understands my struggle, and He's totally fine with it. That's different than somebody coming to me, and I've had both of these in my own life. I've had friends who have been that person who I just mentioned, who's like, this is my one sin that I do all the time, but, you know, whatever's. And then I've had other friends come weeping, just be like, you know, Ryan, I just don't know how to get out of this sin. I'm ensnared by it. I hate myself. I'm broken. I'm weeping and crying out to the Lord all the time because I don't know what to do about this. To me, that's totally different. The sin might be the exact same sin. But one person is repentant and broken and destroyed over their sin, and the other person is almost celebrating their sin. To me, that's the difference. But then the opposing side comes in and says, well, Ryan, who are you to tell them they shouldn't feel the way they feel, and they shouldn't love that's the big word, right? They're loving who they want to love. And honestly, from a Christian standpoint, if I'm going to come from a Christian standpoint, my only thing I can say is, well, because God says, I didn't make it up, right? Either God's word is true or it's not, or parts of it are true and parts. I mean, we can go through and say, oh, we'll just take out all the stuff that says homosexuality is a sin, and we'll just pretend like, you know, or that was back then. You know, that was something from back then. Now it's different. You know, so it's hard. Right? It's a hard one to try to. You know, because me personally, I will never not be friends with somebody I have gay friends. I have people I'll associate with. I'll hang out with. I'll talk to them just like anybody else. But then if they ask me, well, Ryan, but do you think our homosexual lifestyle is sinful? And I say yes, then a lot of times they'll get upset and say, well, you hate us. You say you love us, but you hate us. I said, no, I don't hate you. I just disagree. I just think that particular, it'd be no different if I came to you and said, hey, I'm watching porn all the time. And you said, well, that's sinful. Oh, you must hate me then. Yeah. That's just who I am. I just love watching this. Just leave me alone. It's just, you know what I mean?
I hate you. I'm just not going to shake your hand.
Right. Not until you wash it anyway. No, but I mean, so it's, and I think the hard thing is, like I said before. Thanks for listening. If you have any questions or comments, please email me at whycan'twetalkaboutthat@proton.me. And if you haven't yet, please join the Why Can't We Talk About That podcast Facebook group. Please leave a review wherever you are listening to this from. I'm told that this will help more people find the podcast. Thanks. Here's a clip from the next episode.
Chaos that we see our society declining into right now, where objective truth is not believed anymore. Right. And so, and then once you go there, then who's to say what's right and wrong? Who's to say you can't murder somebody? Who's to say you can't do all these things that are inherently wrong? Right. But if there's no objective truth, if there's no right and wrong, then who's to say? Right. It's just your opinion against my opinion.